Soft drinks, candy, buttered popcorn. They're not make-believe.
Be back in a flick of a bick.
Better hurry before some strange lighter sits down next to me.
Hey, get all those too.
I'll just break the ice with a flick of my bick.
When I want to call my chick, all I do is flick my bick.
She's flicking her bick. She's flicking her bick.
Flick of the bick, sir? Oh, flick of the bick, sir?
Why just light up when you can flick your Bic? It's smooth, easy on the thumb, and you get thousands of flicks from a single Bic. The Bic Butane.
Stop flicking your bick.
Coffee, tea, or a flick of my bick?
Private, don't you know to flick your bick in the presence of an officer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Philip,
Yeah.
now that we're in the tunnel of love, could I have a flick of your bick?
Why just light up when you can flick your Bic? It's smooth, easy on the thumb, and you get thousands of flicks from a single Bic. The Bic Butane.
Keep flicking your Bic, Marcia. There's got to be a ship within at least 1,000 miles of us.
As soon as we can, let's flick our Bics.
I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
Now that you mention it, some burgers and fries would go great with a flick.
And we should also not forget some popcorn, soft drinks, and ice cream.
Then, can we flick our Bics?
Sure. I'd bet you could also get me some chicken salad sandwiches with mayo and a pickle.
How about some pizza?
Oh, with cheese and anchovies.
Ooh, pepperoni.
Sure is great being on a drive-in watching Super Flick and eating all this great food.
This flick is making me hungry.
It makes me want to flick my bick.
We should have gone to the drive-in where we could eat and flick to our heart's content.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, come on then. I'm going to have a pizza and popcorn and ice cream.
And I'm gonna have a burger with fries and a soft drink.
Yum, yum, yum.
This was a great idea.
Ooh.
As soon as the lights go out, I'm gonna flick my bick.
Not here, you're not.
Why not? My right to flick my bick is guaranteed in the Constitution.
Yeah, but in this theater, there are rules and regulations.
Oh, does that mean I can't eat my popcorn?
Sure you can. You can pop, but you can't flick.
Oh,
Shh, shh. Movie's starting.
Honey, ask that man to remove his hat.
As soon as we can, let's flick our Bics.
I don't know about you, but I'm hungry.
Now that you mention it, some burgers and fries would go great with a flick.
And we should also not forget some popcorn, soft drinks, and ice cream.
Then, can we flick our Bics?
Sure. I'd bet you could also get me some chicken salad sandwiches with mayo and a pickle.
How about some pizza?
Oh, with cheese and anchovies.
Ooh, pepperoni.
It's a bridge. Just goes around the corner. Walking on the fighting side of me.
That don't look like it.
It don't. It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
No, it don't.
It do go down.
Oh! Don't.
Please, Robert, please don't do that.
In the six, cooking with the ring.
I do not believe in ghosts or a goblin ghoul. The only thing I believe in is myself.
Marcus Pumpkin.
Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. Interior crocodile alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater.
I want to suck your dick. If you don't let me suck your dick, I'm gonna kill myself.
Wait.
Take your pants off right now, or I'm gonna pull the trigger. Take them off!
Jericho Kane is gonna make your wish come true and turn you into a new woman. We can rent a room at Shutters. It's my favorite place.
What's up, Jeff?
And there goes the boss of the operation, my father, Larry Wayne Petty Sr. Walking like he old. What's wrong with him? You're on camera. Say something.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I saw them. I said, hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there. And they flew away. I said, oh, them was some birds.
What the hell?
Nothing but bad bitches in here tonight. Bad bitches only.
Bad bitches who I fuck with. I like bad bitches cause they like bad bitches too.
I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem.
Would I survive these car crashes? We got 5 miles per hour. That one was pretty dangerous. 10 miles per hour. Honestly, still pretty dangerous. I probably was like crying, and all the kids probably died on this one. They all probably died on that one, because you know the jolt from the impact from the front is really dangerous. That one is getting safer slowly, you know what I'm saying? It's slowly getting safer and safer. See, look, that one balled it up, but I told the kids to like sit down and like bend their back a little bit. If they bend a certain way, they could survive it, honestly. You know what I'm saying? I already put them on game before we got in the bus because I knew what was coming. 150. Honestly, I would say all the kids, we all laughing and stuff because it's honestly fun at this point because it's not even dangerous no more. See, that one really went through the middle of the bus, and all the kids was on the side, so we good. This one, it didn't even stop the bus, so that's good, you know what I'm saying? 250 miles per hour was probably the safest one. 300 miles per hour, we went so fast, like, you ain't even see what happened, feel me? Honestly, that's probably the safest one. We even had...
Hey, guys. Doing out there and stuff. My name's Wario.
That's like how I heard those songs the first time. All right, I'm back. I'm going to switch over to chilling. Yeah, that's like the Cave Story theme. Bum 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 ba-da-na-na. Right? Isn't it? It is. Pretty sure. I've actually never played Cave Story. I just know the music from the YouTube poops and stuff. From like back in the day. There was other ones. I couldn't find any of the others. I didn't really look. But... All right. Let's get into some ghouls and goblins for a bit. You know what I mean? A little ghoul and a goblin. Yeah, that reel was just fucking dumb shit, but it was still funny. I just took a bunch of random videos I had sitting around and just put it into one dumb video. Oh no. I typed it in wrong. All right. This video shows something unbelievable.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham. You're about to see some really scary videos.
I'm pretty stupid.
So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content. Just like this.
Completely unbelievable.
With most phones doubling as cameras these days, it seems that more and more videos are surfacing that purport to show so-called glitches in the Matrix.
Oh, God
in this
damn it.
bizarre clip, we see a woman behaving very strangely indeed.
Wait. Babe, stop cussing.
What the fuck
Wait,
is she
she's
doing?
not moving at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Clapped clams. That's a great name.
The bewildered voices of the two people filming her can be heard as they witness the woman frozen in place for some time.
Maybe she needs help. Maybe she got hit by a fucking...
Describing her behavior as creepy, the pair continue to film her.
That's actually really concerning. I don't know what's going on.
That's really concerning. I saw a video the other day where someone got in a car accident. They were like, my car just started lagging. I don't understand. It just locked up. It was lagging. I was like,
slowly, one of them approaches the woman, who still appears to be completely frozen in position. Oddly, this action seems to jolt her out of her state, and she continues on walking as if nothing ever happened.
She was like, you know when the phone buffers when you're watching a video? That's like what my car did.
One possible explanation for this woman's bizarre behavior is a medical condition known as absence seizures. These seizures generally last only a few seconds, and those that experience them may not be aware that anything has happened. Absence seizures are caused by abnormal and excessive electrical activity in the brain, but the exact trigger is unclear. During an episode, the person may stop talking mid-sentence or pause in an activity without preceding warning, then resume normal behavior immediately afterward with no memory of the incident. So could this be
Also,
a cause
Auto
of the lady's
360p?
strange
Come on,
behavior,
YouTube.
or is it really
That
proof
premium.
of a so-called glitch in the Matrix? We took a deep dive into the concept that we might all be living inside a computer-generated simulation
Font
over on our
size
second
400%.
channel, Slaptam Mysteries. If you'd like to hear more about this fascinating
What's going on
theory,
here?
I'll leave a link in the video description box down below. It's also pinned in the comments.
In 2003, Nick Bostrom, a philosopher at the
What do you
University
open
of
chat in
Oxford,
game?
published a
Start
paper
typing.
that would ignite a firestorm of debate across disciplines. The paper, titled, "Are You Living in a Computer Simulation?" posited a question that has been the stuff of science fiction for decades.
Did we just kill everyone
Could
who
our
says
reality
this?
be a computer-generated simulation?
This eerie clip was supposedly captured by a truck driver known only as Pedro while driving along an allegedly haunted stretch of road somewhere in Louisiana. Over the years, this stretch of road has gained notoriety as being haunted. Motorists often report seeing eerie, shadowy figures out the corner of their eyes and ghostly apparitions walking along the side of the road. Now, take a look at what this truck driver has captured on his dash cam.
Pedro! It really is. Ham is ridiculous with the
Watching that
Matrix
again, if you
shit.
slow the footage down, you can see that the figure looks like a woman and is very pale and almost colorless.
It's like someone dying. Who could it be?
Then, just as he passes by, she looks up and appears to wave.
I am dying, help me.
What makes this sighting even creepier is that it's said that one of Pedro's co-workers had also reported seeing a ghostly figure standing by this very stretch of road. So as always, we'll throw this one over to you, the viewers, for final judgment. What do you think this truck driver's caught on
Weird
camera?
hands on that thing.
To your theories down below.
I'd have driven by too. I'd gone back and ran it over. What the fuck?
This next video was submitted to our Slaptam official community over on Facebook.
Here
we see an amorphous, transparent shape that appears to be hovering over someone sleeping in bed.
I don't like that phrase, while you were sleeping. I like to just imagine the world doesn't exist while I'm sleeping.
At
Nothing happens
first,
when
one
I'm
would be
sleeping,
excused
okay?
for thinking the shape could simply be a bug on the lens. This is often the explanation given for so many so-called ghost videos. However, what happens next seems to prove this isn't the case at all. A few seconds pass before several items are violently thrown from the shelf next to the bed. The light then keeps moving ever closer towards the sleeping person. The man then wakes up and is immediately confused.
Jesus Christ. What the hell?
What the
While
hell?
the video's description suggests that it shows a ghost caught on camera, one viewer made a very interesting observation. Just after the items are thrown onto the bed, the strange shape seems to shrink, almost as if it's entering the sleeping man's body.
I just had a dream that I was penetrated.
The viewer
What
suggested
the
that
heck?
the man might actually be astral traveling, perhaps while in a dream state. Since then, the video's also been analysed from a more skeptical stance, with several key points suggesting that the whole thing might simply be a well-orchestrated hoax. For starters, the timestamp in the upper left corner seems to move in double time. Yet when the man gets up, he appears to move at normal speed.
He accidentally inhaled the ghost.
What the hell is going on in this house?
The fact too that the camera is pointing directly at the bed has also left some viewers questioning the video's authenticity. So what do you think? A ghost, astral traveller, or just a hoax? Let me know down below.
A ghost, a ghoul, or a goblin? You decide.
In this next video, uploaded to our Slaptam official community over on Facebook by Alonia Burchett, viewers are once again taken deep into the
Yo, Slaptam community, represent.
Sanatorium.
Fucking rise up.
The footage, captured during a private investigation around Halloween of 2022, reveals mysterious, shadowy figure in a doorway. See if you can spot it.
We're probably gonna have to split it up. I can feel it.
Initially, as the camera pans up the stairs, transitioning from the 4th to the 5th floor, nothing unusual appears to happen. However, a closer look reveals a distinct, shadowy figure in the doorframe. The poster meticulously reviewed the video to confirm that this figure couldn't have been any of their 10-person group, which included 2 men and 8 women, nor the female worker present in the building. The unexpected appearance of this apparition sent chills down the poster's spine, enhancing the already haunting allure of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium, a place famed for its ghostly encounters.
No.
In a bizarre event that lit up the skies of Hanoi, Vietnam on the night of May 19th, 2024, residents witnessed a mysterious vertical column of light.
I mean,
uploaded to our official community
like
over on
not that
Facebook
crazy.
by user Hung Nguyen, these photos show the phenomenon that quickly sparked widespread interest and
It
speculation
looks like a
across
light
the internet.
that's projecting into the sky.
Initially, the light seemed otherworldly, reminiscent of visuals from the video game franchise Halo, leading to a flurry of online discussion.
You fucking insane?
The National Center for Hydrometeorological
How is it like
Forecasting
Halo?
in Vietnam also shared images of the light, intensifying public intrigue.
I mean, it's a thing in the sky,
However,
but
as
it's
it
not.
turns out, the source of
Is
this
that like Halo?
spectacle was far less mystical. The phenomenon was traced back to the State Securities Commission of Vietnam building. It was revealed that the building's lights were responsible for creating the dramatic effects seen in the sky. This explanation was corroborated by additional photos showing the building emitting the light, confirming that the breathtaking sight was indeed man-made.
It's almost like if you shine a flashlight into fog. The
This next
same
video,
thing
shared to Facebook
happens.
by Tamara Llewellyn, was captured at the Angus Steakhouse and Seafood in Calabash, North Carolina. Take a look. Some might immediately see the curtain and dismiss its movements as being caused by a draft.
They're here.
However, if you look closely, it appears as though 2 small hands are manipulating the curtain from behind.
That curtain is
The poster
moving.
assures that
Imagine
there was
someone
no one
like
behind
stops the
door,
restaurant.
which hadn't been open.
Excuse me,
for about
waiter.
20
That
minutes.
curtain over there is
no
moving
animals
a
were
little bit.
present either to explain the strange phenomenon.
Can you explain that? Are we in the Matrix?
The poster goes on to note that despite the presence of a vent on the ceiling to the right,
Ma'am, I don't even
the
make
peculiar
minimum
motion
wage.
seemed disconnected from any airflow or activity in the restaurant. So what do you think's causing this strange movement? Watch the clip
door
again.
is like a
and let
jar.
me know in the comments down below.
Ghosts are here to stay.
Before we take a look at
Yo,
some
Navatron.
unsettling footage that's been captured deep in the woods,
Hell yeah, thank you
remember
for
to
that,
hit that
everyone, dude.
subscribe button, then tickle that little bell
Remember
icon
that
there and
5
turn on all
months?
channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary, mysterious videos.
I want him to just be like, if you don't subscribe, I
Here's a
will
quick clip
kill
for
your
all of you who are
family.
afraid of
Like
being
one of these
alone in the
times or something like
woods.
that. Say something
Take a
fucked
look.
up. If you don't subscribe, I will fucking kill you. Or the next video will be about
The footage
you.
uploaded to Instagram by user OVO2 shows a worker attempting to fix his chainsaw in the middle of nowhere. When suddenly a spine-tingling howl reverberates around the remote landscape. Understandably, the worker seems spooked by the sound and quickly heads back to his vehicle's cabin for safety.
It sounds like a person.
So what would you do if you were on the job all alone in the woods and you heard this eerie sound? Would you stick around to see if you can catch a glimpse of the creature that made it? Or would you just phone the boss and tell him nope? Let me know in the comments down below.
Or would you start off the chainsaw and throw yourself on it?
If you want to watch some more scary ghost videos, then check out that link on the top there. Otherwise,
Alright. I don't know. I don't know about those ghosts. Who are they? The fuck are they doing here? Alright, what the hell else are we gonna watch? What do we got here? Well, you see. I think we will watch
Iltam Sumra Rashupti Ilatim. Litait Belet Ishi Rabit Igigi. Iltam Sumra Rashupti Ilatim. Litait Belet Ishi Rabit Igigi. Ishta Sumra Rashupti Ilatim. Litait Belet Nishi Rabit Igigi.
You know, like Bronze Age memes. Shit was sick. Pretty fucking sick. What was the name of that podcast? The dumb guys. Nah, maybe that would be stupid. That might be stupid. Hold on, I'll find something real quick. I know. I forget if we watched this.
I lived in the countryside until I was 16. My neighborhood was a small town. I lived with my uncle and grandmother. This is a horror story I experienced at that time. Almost 10 years later, the memory hasn't faded. When I was about 15 years old, my grandmother held my hand one day and said, "If some girl begs you to help her at night, do not help her. You have to ignore it and run away." It was a very famous rumor in this town. I thought it was just a story.
If a girl
made
ever
up by
asks you for
somebody
help,
like
you
any
should
other
ignore
ghost
her.
story. So
Leave her to
I didn't
die
really
in the
care about it back
woods.
then. Actually, everyone in the neighborhood knew this story. If you hear a girl's voice at night, you must run, or you'll die. It was an obvious story. Then one night, I was out playing outside with my friends, and it suddenly got dark. Man, Grandma's gonna be pissed. I started walking home in a hurry, but the way home wasn't close. It soon became dark outside, and I was walking alone on an empty road. I began to get a little scared, so I purposely hurried up, humming to myself to calm down. Then, I heard a girl's voice in the forest next to the road.
Help me.
I felt a chill run down my spine. As soon as I thought I heard it wrong, I heard the voice once again.
Help me.
It hurts.
Although it was a really small
Help
voice,
me, I need
I
help.
could tell for sure it
Please
was the
help
voice
me,
of a girl.
I'll suck your dick.
I looked where the voice came from, but all I could see was the dark forest. But then I saw something behind a tree. Its appearance in the dark began to become clearer. There was a little girl lying behind the tree. I was extremely taken aback.
What's wrong with
that she
his
might have been
ears? His
hurt.
ears have
I
like a
tried to
weird like
approach her.
peace sign thing going on.
However, I immediately recalled what my grandmother had told me. With a feeling of wariness, I stayed on the spot and stared at her. Then, the girl moved slightly and said once again,
Is anybody there?
I couldn't see her clearly in the dark, but something was unnatural. It didn't feel right. I moved slowly to escape from the spot. I heard her voice again and again, but I didn't get
Grandma
any
said
closer.
not to help anyone.
As I kept walking to
It
the
wasn't
side,
at least
I could
an
see
8
the
out of
back
10.
the tree.
So I
She
ran
wasn't
away.
lying down. Someone was hiding behind the tree, holding her up and supporting her body. Her body was lulled. I couldn't tell whether she was dead or alive. Then, my heart dropped. I made eye contact with the man who was hiding behind the tree. He suddenly jumped out of the forest and started running towards me like crazy.
Help this poor girl.
It was the same girl's voice that I had
Not what I
just
thought
heard
was gonna
before. Screaming, I started to run away. This time, I heard the man in a deep voice. Crap, he didn't fall for it. I felt the fear of death and my whole life flashed before my eyes. Just then, I saw a flashlight in front of me and realized what it was shortly afterward. My uncle came looking for me on his bike. My God, I'm alive. Thinking this, I burst out crying. I ran to my uncle, and when I looked back, the man was
These two
gone.
guys sound like Piccolo.
I told my uncle and grandmother everything I saw, and we soon called the police. Police began searching for him, believing that he was involved in several disappearances in the town, but they failed to find him. I still can't forget the voice I heard that night. I probably wouldn't be here right now if I wasn't so lucky. Always be careful of the stranger's voice.
Yeah, be careful. You never know. You just never know.
My name is Jonathan. I live in an average apartment. There are main roads via my apartment, but there's also a shortcut too, which makes it faster to go to one of my friends, Nick's house. However, the weird thing was that nobody uses the road. I didn't know until I saw something on it that very day. One day, I went to visit Nick as usual. We played some kinds of games together in his house, having
Game is
snacks.
that?
The outside had become dark,
Fucking
and when I
game
looked
was
at the
that?
time, it was almost 10 p.m. Then my mom called me to get back home as soon as possible. She seemed like she got mad, so I packed my stuff quickly. I got out of my friend's house, walked for like
His
2 minutes,
face was like
and then I
fucked up
decided to
there.
walk through that shortcut lane this time. Because it was completely dark, it gave me a chill, but I was in a rush.
Like
So
Jim
I landed
Halpert
my phone's
face
flash
out
and
of
walked
nowhere.
through the road. It was a straight road, and all the leaves and bushes were on the 2 sides. And the next moment became the most terrible memory for my entire life. While I was walking alone, my phone's battery suddenly died. Holy crap, I mumbled to myself. But at that moment, I was so freaked out. I made my pace quicker when I heard someone's footsteps. When I looked up, there was a figure in front of me that was almost
Holy crap.
black and invisible. All lampposts in that road were broken except 2 of them. But those 2 lampposts were flickering continuously, and the figure was slowly walking closer to my side. When the light fell on his face, I could
Oh,
see
damn,
him
that guy looks
full
familiar.
of scars on his face. He had a cut in his throat, and the blood is falling out of his cut. I tried to ask him if he needed any help, but then he put his hand on top of his head slowly, and he picked it up. I could see his head was dividing from his body, and he was just standing there, holding his head in one hand and looking straight into my eyes. I couldn't even move because I was so terrified at that moment. All of a sudden, his head was laughing loudly and gave a shriek loudly at the very next. I stepped back, and then he came in front of me again with big strides.
He came
This time, I could see those 2 lampposts which were flickering above him all went out. And I don't remember anything after that. The next morning when I woke up, I was in a hospital. It turned out that some guy who was jogging around found me unconscious on that road. My mother was sitting next to me with an anxious look, so I told her my entire experience. When I finished telling her, she seemed a little surprised, and then she patted my back. She told me that there was a man who was murdered and beheaded by some gang members on that road a few years ago, but the police could neither find his head nor the criminal.
Yeah.
Since then, lots of people saw the same stuff as me, so they stopped using that road. Even now, whenever I go to my home, I still ignore that frightening road and take another long path.
It's like 20 feet.
It would always make my heart sink just thinking about that incident itself.
This happened to me recently.
Those goddamn ghosts. Always up to no good. Always up to no good. Can't do anything about it. What are you going to do? You know?
This
tell him to stop?
happened when I was in 4th or 5th.
You gonna tell him to stop?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to. How about?
Hello, my friends. Do you remember?
No. No.
I grew up in this podunk town in Nebraska, and in the 18 years I lived there, only 2 significant things happened. The first thing, and probably the best thing, is that I was born.
I'm
I know,
cool.
You're all very welcome. But the second, and perhaps the worst thing that ever happened in our town, was when Kevin Meyer set his garage on fire. Or rather, maybe what Kevin did constituted the worst thing that never happened to our town. And if that doesn't make any sense, bear with me. All will become clear over the course of the next few paragraphs. So it was a Sunday night, and I was in my freshman year of high school at the time. So still at that age when me and my friends would go out on our bikes for an evening. You know, good old wholesome fun. We're just riding around when we see another kid from our class riding down the street at top speed.
The boys.
We stop to say hey, and in between panting breaths, the kid's like, "Oh my god, guys, the Myers garage is on fire, come look." We then hurtled down the street at full speed, following the kid from our class until we're faced with this raging inferno that used to be the Myers family garage. Only, right as we get there, we're immediately told to keep back by the cops and firefighters on scene. We thought we were already at a safe distance, so we're kind of confused but did as we're told. Only then we start hearing all these pops and bangs coming from the garage.
Pops and
the
bangs.
firefighters trying to put the flames out.
Get in
suddenly ran
there!
for cover. I had no idea what was causing the little bangs, but if it was scaring the cops and the firefighters, then I figured I should have been scared of it too. I actually thought the Meyer house was about to explode or something.
Get inside
so
the
did my buddies.
explosions! Go!
So we had no problem getting out of there quick, riding home and telling our parents about it. The next morning at school, all the kids were talking about the fire, mainly because Kevin Meyer hadn't showed up to any of his classes. Some kids were spreading rumors saying they'd seen the paramedics loading him up onto an ambulance, and he was so badly burned that he was just a smoldering husk. Others said that he and his parents had gone to live with relatives since the fire had made their house basically unlivable, which is the story I believe because I figured there'd be actual confirmation if anyone had died. But then the next morning, there was confirmation. News reports said that firefighters had recovered one body from the burned-out garage, while the surviving family members were staying with relatives and had asked the media to give them some space. So, on that Tuesday, we knew someone had died, but we had no idea exactly who. The Meyers had 3 generations living in that house, and Kevin was one of 4 kids. A bunch more rumors began swirling, and it was only the following day when our high school principal called us all in for a special assembly that we actually got any concrete answers. I remember the whole school filing into the gymnasium where the county sheriff and a handful of deputies were all stood in front of the bleachers, each of them with a real serious look on their faces. Once we were all seated, the principal opened up by saying that the county sheriff had something important to talk to us about, and as he stepped forward and took his hat off, I swear you could have heard a pin drop. We knew it was going to be something about the Meyer family, but exactly what it was, I'd swear I'd never have guessed in a million years. I'm not about to pretend I can remember what the guy said word for word. This all happened almost 20 years ago now, but this is basically the gist of it. Folks, you've all heard about the fire over at the Meyer place, and I'm sure you've all heard about the tragic loss of life. Well, I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you, but your classmate Kevin was the one who passed.
Damn.
There was a kind of rolling gasp across the gym, and the sheriff paused for a second before continuing. Now, we're still trying to figure out how the fire
just, like, happened in the
started,
background.
so we're inviting anyone with any information on Kevin to please step forward. You don't have to do it now. You can call my office whenever you like, and we can have a more discreet conversation. Please, if you have anything to tell us about any strange or unusual behavior Kevin exhibited in the days before the fire, I implore you to step forward. That was the first clue we had that something was really wrong. I guess they wanted to handle the whole thing with kid gloves, and I can totally understand why they might want to shield us from what they already knew. The initial reaction was one of total shock and grief. Kids were horrified that one of their own had died in such a horrible way. But if the cops had told us what they'd really found in there, I don't think people would have been nearly as sad. More like angry. It took 2 more days for the truth to come out, and by that time,
Big
the town had
phone.
decided to defer responsibility to our parents. There was a town meeting, I remember that, because my parents asked me to do my chores before they returned, and all they did was play Perfect Dark for like 2 hours. When they got home, I thought they'd be mad that I hadn't even put a dent into any of the stuff I had to do, but they weren't mad. They had these weird but sad, but intense looks on their faces, exactly the same ones they had when my grandpa died suddenly. They sit me down in the TV room and ask how well I knew Kevin. I tell them not much, that I had Spanish class with him, but that we never talked. They then start asking me a bunch of other questions, if Kevin ever got mad at me, if I liked him, stuff like that. In the end, I just straight up told them it was obvious they knew something about Kevin, and that I'd rather they just told me that it was him taking his own life or something because I was old enough to handle the truth. Turns out, I was not old enough to handle the truth. Kevin hadn't taken his own life. He'd accidentally blown himself up trying to make a bomb. Apparently, he wanted to test his method out by making a test model. But as he was putting it together, he somehow detonated the thing and made it enough of a bang to kill him before setting his garage on fire.
So, like, it was kind of a
At
good
first,
thing?
it'd look like he
died like
might
that?
have just been a firebug, you know, like a pyromaniac, and he was just screwing around with an accelerant or something. That's why it took a few days for the cops to be sure of what happened. They had to go over the burned-out garage and go through Kevin's stuff to try and work out why he did it. The cops then found a journal Kevin had been keeping, one where he'd basically laid out his plan to build a bomb, then put it under the church one Sunday morning while it was full of families. The cops wouldn't say exactly what the rest of the journal consisted of, only that it made for highly disturbing reading, and that there were several references to the Columbine massacre of the year before. Mom was crying by the end of the talk, and Dad was the most shaken up I'd ever seen him. That kid wanted to kill almost the entire town, and let me tell you, if he'd hit the church around the upcoming Veterans Day service, he'd have killed like 90% of the people in our town, all in one fiery blast. And the most I ever got for an explanation was just
fire.
The kid wanted to hurt people, or he wasn't right. No one really bullied the kid or gave him
He
a
had
hard
a
time.
coloring
It was
book
just
where he
crazy,
blew people
I
up.
guess. But I also thank God that he wasn't smarter and that he didn't, like, put a little more research in or take a little more care. Because if he had, he might have wiped our entire town right off the map.
That was a dumb story. There's no ghost or ghoul. The fuck? The fuck, man? What are you doing? What were you thinking? Huh? The fuck, dude?
This true scary workplace.
The fuck, dude? A gabagool. I see what you did there. Let me get this guy some Reddit gold. Send him over. Send him on over. There's like all these dumb titles like online game horror story, animated, creepy deep web story, true terrifying horror story, and then I saw my dad in hell. Like, which one doesn't fit in with the others?
My name is Magda, and I'm 26 years old. I work in an office in the city. On the weekends, I used to love to get away from all the hustle and bustle and take a trip to the countryside. Luckily, I have a cottage in a small village which
Yeah,
is
she's
located
named after the
right
Magna
at
Carta.
the edge of the forest. How I used to love to get out of the city and
I know what I
spend the
said.
weekend in my little cottage. Why did I stop? Well, I'll tell you. After a hard week at work, I needed to rest, so I decided to get out of town. I went home, packed my bags, threw them in the trunk, and drove off. When I arrived in the village, it was late in the evening and I was tired from the long drive. I went straight to bed and fell asleep quickly. In the middle
The way
of the
this
night,
guy draws,
I was
like,
awakened by the sound of my car alarm
breasts
going off.
on women is
I looked out the window.
it's always like
but
one
there
is
was
really
nobody in sight.
small and the other
I
one's
found
big.
my car keys,
Like the
pressed
angle.
the button to shut off the alarm, and the awful noise stopped.
It's like
I
the
laid back
Biggie
down
Smalls
and
thing.
tried to fall asleep. All of a sudden, the alarm went off again. I didn't feel like getting up, so I just grabbed my keys and pressed the button once more. Everything was peaceful and quiet again. However, 5 minutes later, the alarm went off a third time. Once or twice could have been an accident, but now I was wondering what was going on. Could someone be playing tricks on me in the middle of the night? I got up again and pressed the button to turn off the alarm. But this time, I didn't lay back down. I stood at the curtains and watched. After a few minutes, I saw something by the light of the moon. A shadow emerged from the bushes and slowly approached the car. I could just about make out the shape. It was something tall, skinny, and black. The figure reached out with its long, thin arms and knocked on the car. The alarm went off again, and quick as a
some people like
flash,
the
the dark
subtitles, man.
figure retreated back into the bushes. At that moment, I realized what was going on and began shaking
I don't
with
know why
fear.
they
I
are
turned off the
gigantic, but
alarm and
they
continued
made
to
them
watch.
smaller.
The thing emerged from the bushes again, slid silently over to the gates, threw a hand through them, and removed the partition holding the gates closed. I
You
was
could just say they opened the
paralyzed
gate.
with
We
fear,
need like every
and I
fucking
couldn't
detail.
move. My mind was overcome by panic thoughts. What was it? What did it want from me?
I don't know
What
about
was it
Magda.
doing? Would it ever go away? A shiver ran through my body, from my head down to my toes. My mouth was dry and my heart was beating fast. I was so tense, I was gritting my teeth and clenching my hands into fists. I regained control of myself and ran down the stairs as fast as my legs could carry me to the
Throw yourself
ground
out the window.
floor. I wanted to look for something I could use to protect myself. However, just as I was about to switch on the lights, I suddenly froze in my tracks. The dark figure was at the window. It was pressed up against the glass, staring in, looking to see whether or not there was someone home. I immediately ducked down behind the sofa and peered out. That's when I realized what all those tricks with the car were for. It was trying to lure its victim outside.
See, like, look at her boobs there.
I
What the
couldn't
fuck?
take my eyes off its hit. It was trying to lure its victim out.
Like, they always draw them like that. I get it, the perspective thing, but doesn't it's kind of like fucking weird, right? Is it not?
Lure its victim outside. I couldn't take my eyes off its hideous face. Its skin was
One
the
big
color of
titty, one
ash
little
and
titty.
covered with wrinkles. Its eyes were small, beady, and completely black. Instead of it having a nose, there were two
I
ragged
couldn't
holes.
take my
It
eyes
didn't
off
have
her
any lips,
weird
just
boobs.
2 rows of sharp, yellow
That's what this guy was
teeth.
thinking.
When it breathed, it was so heavy and hoarse that it was misting up the window. I just knew it wasn't going to go away. After standing at the window for a few moments, I heard a rustling
Yeah, they like
noise as
Voldemort.
it came to the front
Seen them
door.
a few times.
I watched as it tried to push its fingers through the gap under the door. The handle began to twitch wildly up and down. The creature emitted a chilling sound. It was not like a human voice. It was a deep, beastly growl, like an angry dog chewing on a bone. I knew that if it heard me, it would keep trying until it found a way to get into the house. I crouched down behind the sofa, hiding in the shadows and desperately trying not to make a sound. Tears began involuntarily streaming down my face. No matter how much I tried to stop them, I could feel my pulse pounding in my temples, and I was shaking like a leaf, just waiting for it to end. I don't know how long I cowered there. I must have been passed out. When I woke up and looked out the window, the creature was gone. The door was still in place and everything seemed secure. I've never been so relieved in all my life. I ran upstairs and looked out the window. It was light outside.
Yeah, the
and I
subtitles
was
don't even
missing
line up with the
anything wrong.
dialogue.
Taking a chance, I grabbed my keys and without stopping to collect any of my things, I ran out to the car. I jumped in, locked the doors, and drove away from the
Boom.
village as fast as I could. I didn't stop driving until I got back to the city. When I got back to my apartment,
She gets in the car.
I turned on the radio and heard a news report. The announcer said that, in the village, the dead bodies of 2 girls had been discovered. Their corpses had been mutilated and dumped in a swamp. I guess the creature found what it was looking for. I don't
Not the
want
creature.
to, but I am curious to know.
The
What would have
small
happened
house.
if I
for
didn't
her.
make the right decision of sprinting?
It's funny. Okay. But what if it was something else?
This story took place when I was roughly 5 or 6 years old. My baby sister had just been born a year prior to this story, and my parents had also just been divorced, so my mom and stepdad moved me and my sister into this new house. This house had been built on a hillside in West Virginia in the mid-1800s. It was made out of dark wood that almost gave you an ominous
Just
feeling.
a normal ass
looking
car.
at it.
Just a hyper.
The house had 3 stories. The front door was at the middle story, where our bedrooms and living room were. Upstairs was the attic, but the entrance to it was a pulley door. Downstairs was the kitchen, laundry room, back door, and then a mysterious room. This mysterious room was the only room
Every
in the
house
with a metal door.
comes with a mysterious
Cold air
room.
would seep from below it, and it had a padlock that only my mom and the landlord had keys for. The landlord referred to it as the boiler room. My bedroom was located directly above the boiler room, and it also had the pulley door for the attic on my ceiling. It didn't take too long before strange things began happening to each member of my family individually, but it began with me. There would be times when I'd leave the room for a minute, and then return minutes later to find things moved out of place. Hordes of wasps and other things would come out of the attic and act in strange ways, always remaining in my room. I wouldn't learn this detail until years later, but my mom and stepdad apparently heard footsteps in the living room, walking in circles almost every night, usually only when one of them was still awake. A skeptic would say that my things being moved was my older sister playing tricks, that the insects were normal, and that the footsteps were creaky wood. However, one night, I woke up and felt like someone was in the room with me. I turned over and saw a little boy standing there, shrouded in darkness. I could only see his silhouette, but he appeared to be the same size as me, so I said, "Hello." The boy answered back and told me that he was from the boiler room and asked if he could play with my toys. I told him no because it was too late and I didn't want to get in trouble.
No way, bitch. You
For a
can't touch
brief
my
moment
toys,
after
dumb
that,
ghost.
I could make out the boy's expression. My rejection was met with a gaze of pure rage, and then, in an instant, the boy was gone. I told my mom and stepdad about it the next day. They seemed nervous about it, but then they just reassured me that it was a bad dream. Even as a little kid, I was good at reading people, so I could tell that they were holding something back, but I let it be. That night, something else happened. I awoke again to the feeling that I wasn't alone. This time, whenever I turned around, I was met with something sinister. The silhouette of an elderly woman stood hunched over my bed, her face inches away from mine, breathing on me. Where her eyes should have been, there was only darkness. I got up and ran past her, opened my door, and hurried over to my sister's room. My older sister was away at a sleepover, so it was just my baby sister in her crib asleep. When I turned back to the doorway, I saw the woman walking towards me slowly. As she walked past the window, lightning crashed outside. And then, in that instant, the woman was gone. And where she was, it appeared that a wolf was approaching me instead.
Anyway, she was a wolf.
I looked away for a second.
Yeah, I don't
As
know.
I looked back down,
Crazy.
the
Crazy
lightning
story.
crashed again. And after that flash, I saw spiders on my pillow. I turned to look back to the spirit. And after the next flash, the little boy appeared again. As he
Animorph?
got closer and closer to me, I passed out.
Let me tell you about a little series
I woke
called
up in my bed again,
Animorphs.
drenched in sweat. Many questions raced through my mind at that moment. Soon after telling my mom and stepdad about that experience, we moved out. According to what the landlord told my mom whenever she confronted him about the paranormal experiences, a widowed mother and her 3 children had lived in the house when it was first built. The husband had died during the Civil War. At some point not too long after,
Is this how Twilight
the
starts?
mother snapped and murdered all
Never
3
seen
of
it.
her children in the living room of the house, and then stashed their bodies in the boiler room. Those deaths perfectly explained why fast footsteps had been heard in the living room, why my toys and stuff were moving on their own, and why I saw a little boy and an evil woman. It also perfectly explains why we moved out so fast after I told my mom and stepdad about seeing the woman. To this day, I sometimes ask myself, what drove that woman to do it? Grief? Loneliness? Insanity? I'll never know. But another question I have is, if she was willing to do that to her own children, what would she have done to a child that wasn't even hers? What would have happened if my sisters and I had stayed at that house?
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what would have happened. What would have happened? I don't know, man.
My name is Jake. Half an hour ago, I was just a regular kid.
Let's watch a little Animorphs.
It's amazing how
See how
quickly
fucked
your
up
whole
this
life
shit
can
could be.
change.
I don't know. Yo, what game is this? Hold on. Fuck? Gaming? What is that? Like a Transformers game or something? Yeah, is this book accurate? I don't remember video games. Random.
Congratulations, Galactic Warrior. You are now in the Overlord atmosphere with 230,000 points.
Overlord atmosphere. It's like Beast Wars. Some kind.
I'll make it to Magic. Are you dreaming again, Marco? You dare me? What do you think, Homer?
The dog is just like, what am I doing?
See? All right, you're on. Go.
Dog's fake. That's definitely not a real dog. Guys, this is what internet cafes used to be like.
Congratulations, Wolf. You are now in the Magi atmosphere with 3,660,000 points.
You guys missed out. This is the golden age. We used to hang out in internet cafes and do this.
Alert. Please enter more coins. 1 minute playing time to go. Mission failed.
Fake dogs were abundant.
See what's next?
It was good.
Later.
Oh, hi.
Later.
Hey, guys.
Where have you been? One word.
Later.
Sail.
Squall.
Excuse me, but I am captain of the gymnastics.
This guy is
team.
Iceman, isn't he? He was also in that
So, what have you been doing?
Supermassive game.
Galactic Warrior.
Fuck is the name of that company? Supergiant, Supermassive. I always get mixed up. One that made Until Dawn.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, that dog knows.
You just got blown away. Homer, no. Homer. Jake.
Dog's name is Homer. Sick. Mars, there's a Simpsons reference.
Looks like those obedience classes are paying off.
What's up with him anyways?
I don't know, but we gotta get him back. Homer, where are you going?
Homer!
Shut up, Bart.
Homer, come here. Homer! Homer, stop! This isn't funny.
Ow.
What's he want in there? Homer?
This place creeps me out.
Hey guys, it's getting late.
Yeah, this is scary.
Everywhere. He's not here.
We've got to find him. Come on, Homer. Come on.
Homer!
Let's go.
Homer!
Over here. Come
Homer!
on.
Homer, come here, boy!
Come on, boy.
Come here, boy! Come
Homer,
on, Homer!
come on. Do you see him?
No.
Nah, man. Yo, Homer. Homer.
Marge, I'm a dog.
Come on. Homer.
Where are you, boy? Homer, he's over here. He seems okay now.
Hey. Thanks. Sure. Come here, Homer. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Good boy.
You're new around here, right?
Look.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Too weird.
Come on.
John Ashmore.
Let's go. I don't think so.
Really, is that how you would react to that?
She's
Let's
right.
go.
I'm in.
No, you guys would be like, what the fuck?
You're insane.
Or just like no one reacts at all to that.
Hey, wait up.
Dog knew though.
There's something coming out. This is the part where we hide, amigo.
Yeah, I think it's all too late.
What is
Shit,
it?
man, it's weird.
I don't know, but it's definitely not from my hood.
Sick. The alien design in these stories is actually pretty
He looks
dope.
like it's
though.
hurt. Yeah, so?
He's like a horseman.
What if it's like radioactive or something?
Oh, please.
Stay. Oh, sure. The dog is.
There's like centipede monsters and shit. Slugs that go in your ear. Kinda cool.
Maybe we should try talking to it.
Yeah. Just let me get out my alien English dictionary.
Shut the fuck up.
Do not be afraid. I mean you no harm.
Where did that come
They look like
I heard
Andorans
it,
from Star Trek. didn't
but
it?
I didn't hear it. I heard it. In my head.
We all heard it.
I'm speaking to you in thoughts.
You're hurt. We can help you.
I am Elfangor of the Andalite world. I've come.
Jake, give me a shirt. He's wounded.
J.R.R. Tolkien ass name.
There's nothing you can do for me.
It's gonna be okay. Cassie knows a lot about animals.
Way to insult the guy, Rach.
The wound is fatal. I will die. But there will be others.
Others?
Unlike me, they have come to destroy you. There is no time for fear. You must help your world, but you must protect yourselves from the Yerks.
The what?
The Yerks. The Yerks are parasites. They must have a host to live in. On Earth, their hosts are humans. They enter your brain and take over your thoughts and feelings. These hosts are called controllers. They can be anyone. Your family, your friends, always their next target.
Wait a sec. You're telling me that some slimy alien slug can crawl into our brains and take over our minds?
And control us? Yes, there is no time for questions. I must do what I can for you. I have no choice. I can give you a way to fight the Yeerks. Each of you must touch one side of the cube.
I'm not touching that.
If you don't, then everything you love will be destroyed. Your brothers, your sisters, your parents.
Rachel, I don't know.
You heard him. We have no choice.
Man, this is insane.
What if there was like one more person?
This gift is for you too, Tobias.
How do you know my name?
The dog has to be able to touch it. Omar, you are a Simpson.
Now what? Something's wrong.
Omar Simpson.
It is done. The power of change is in your flesh.
Change? What kind of change?
You need only to touch a creature to acquire its DNA pattern and change your form.
Change our form? You mean we can change into animals?
Exactly. You can become any animal you touch and acquire, but remember, when you change, you must return to your human form within 2 Earth hours.
Why? What happens after 2 hours?
You will be trapped within that animal form forever.
What's going on? The freeze dropped.
What's happening?
Visser 3 is here.
What's a Visser 3?
You must go. Go. Your lives are more important than mine. Now go. Go. Tobias. Guard this, Tobias, with your heart and your soul.
Tobias, come on!
I have to get it!
You fucking idiot. You fucked it up already. Like dropped it.
Oh, look, this one's different.
I'm guessing that's Visser 3.
Prince Alfangor, what an honor it is to be in the presence of a legend. You've managed to trick quite a few of our fighters.
Visser 3.
Yes, I have taken one of your Andalite bodies as my host. Your Andalite morphing technology has been so very useful to me.
No matter how many bodies you steal, you will not win this war. We will fight you.
You and your Andalite armies are fighting on too many fronts. Your forces are spread too thin. This world will soon be ours.
Why Earth? Why these people?
Because there are so many, and they're so weak. Our army will be 1 billion strong. And then I promise you one thing, Alfangor. I will return to your world and personally oversee the infestation of your entire family. I hope that they resist, so that I can hear their minds scream.
Yo, it's pretty badass. Eat that guy.
Over
Got
there.
8.
Tell Mr. 3 we have a problem.
Okay. Check over there. Go around the back.
I don't know where they went. I don't know.
Come on, Homer. Come on, let's go.
It's pretty sick.
Lights. It worked.
And in the second one, they go to like a York like spawning pool or some shit.
And before it...
Maybe not.
Go before we become lunch.
It is kind of a neat series, though, honestly. There's a lot of like goofy animations and stuff. There's another show I was thinking of actually. The fuck was it called? '90s. Oh yeah, this show. Wonder if there's all. Dude, this show. Where the fuck does it start? Hold on. Hold on. So yeah, there was a show about a kid who's like walking in the woods and then there's like an explosion. It's like a freak accident. It like sends him to a parallel dimension. It's an Australian show. And I remember watching it like as a kid. This is it. This is it.
Alex, if you get busted making gunpowder, we're in big
It's like in another language. What the fuck? Twisted lunchbox? The fuck is that? I think this is
Okay,
it.
I won't tell anyone.
Me either. Thanks.
Does this go? I can't tell if this is like the first episode or not. Yeah, no, this is part 2. I see. Hold on 1 second. I just want to see the fucking intro for this shit. How we got put into the parallel dimension. The graphics for it are the special effects,
Okay, I
rather.
won't tell anyone.
Might be missing though. Spellbinders. Yeah, I remember Eerie. Okay. Here's something. Fuck. I only have episode 2. It'd be better than nothing. Yeah. I don't know, man. I guess we missed the explanation for what the fuck is going on. Not really that interesting, I guess. But there is some effects that are insane. Yes. Okay, here we go. Austrian Polish production with an Australian kid. YouTube just put on Stargate after that. Amazing. Yo, Stargate was kind of scary. All right. This is getting late. I'm going to ramp it up. Thank you all for hanging out for a while. Appreciate it. Thank you for chilling. We will be back tomorrow. Go check out all the things. You can drop on my Twitter. Got a new video over there. It's actually not new. It's 2 months old.
TikTok user Brenna has recently shared a spine-chilling ghost story that's left viewers on edge, and there's footage to back it up. In her eerie video, Brenna recounts the unsettling experiences of her sister and former roommate, who both worked at a music school and daycare center for children.
I forgot. Changed my category to games and demos the entire night. I didn't just chatting. I didn't realize that.
Daycare center for kids in the Upper East Side.
While music classes echoed upstairs, downstairs in the basement lurked the daycare, a place Brenna describes as undeniably scary.
And they both hated being down there. And I'd been down there a few times too. It is really scary. Like, you know when you just get a feeling about a place? Like, that is the basement. It was horrible.
According to Brenna, her sister and roommate dreaded being downstairs, often hearing inexplicable voices in the absence of their co-teacher. Even more disturbing, the cleaner would occasionally stumble upon toys mysteriously arranged in a circle.
Oh, fuck.
Adding to the ominous atmosphere,
those AI
reports from
toys.
Children of a mean guy lurking in the play tunnel and corner of the room. When COVID forced the daycare to close its doors, the owner installed security cameras to monitor the empty space, hoping to capture any unusual occurrences. What the cameras caught is beyond chilling. Take a look.
Oh, fuck.
The footage reveals objects moving around the room, seemingly of their own accord. So what do you think? Given that Brenna's unsettling tales of the property are now seemingly corroborated by this eerie footage, one has to wonder what's really going on in the basement of this old daycare center. Over on TikTok, a user by the name Pink86 is turning heads with some eerie yet oddly heartwarming content straight from the halls of a hospital. In a series of videos, this account documents encounters with a purported spirit in the Phoenix Children's Hospital in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. In the first clip, a young girl engages in what can only be described as a supernatural Q&A session.
This seems like a good thing to do. Let's talk to ghosts in the children's hospital.
As she poses questions to the alleged spirit, the tap mysteriously activates, seemingly in response.
It's motion sensor. There's no one over there. Okay, do it one more time.
Do it one more time, please.
While most people would recoil at such an encounter, the girl appears delighted by the interaction, adding a curious twist to the eerie proceedings.
Okay. One last time.
At one point, the mum even shows
I guess if
that
the kid is
tap
having
doesn't
fun,
easily activate
whatever.
by motion.
And just for show, let's see if it comes on right here. I'm right here. Nothing.
In one particularly eerie moment, the pair attempt to guess the alleged entity's age.
Hillary.
Are you 5? Are you 6? 7?
It has a fucking motion sensor.
You're 9? You're 9 years old?
Later, they try and find out a name for the purported spirit.
Does your name start with a A? Does your name start with a B?
I want to do the question ask.
Okay.
You a girl that died here?
That's a weird name.
Thankfully, the spirit, affectionately dubbed Bianca, seems to harbour no ill intentions towards the hospital's young inhabitants or their guardians. In subsequent videos, things turn even more strange. While on a video call with her dad, the young girl asks if the presence can flicker the lights.
What about ghost aliens? What if an alien died here like tens of thousands of years ago? And it's his
Watching that
ghost?
again, it is subtle, but if you look closely, the lights do indeed flicker.
So, can you flicker the lights or no?
Did you see that?
This is one of the last videos featuring this encounter, and audiences have been left with more questions than answers. In a subsequent update, the mum said they were taken out of the room for a medical scan and never returned, so they have no way of knowing what was actually happening. So, if you ever find yourself at the Phoenix Children's Hospital, be prepared for the possibility of more than just medical treatment. You might just make friends with a friendly spirit named Bianca.
Your eyes are green?
On the TikTok account Chilled and Disturbed, a gripping scene unfolds as a young couple's domestic dispute takes a chilling turn.
Planning on,
Do you know how it feels to hang out with a group of people and they don't even want you there?
They do want you there.
Oh my
Captured
God.
on their home security
Why?
system, the pair are right in the middle of an argument when suddenly something strange starts to happen.
They like you a lot.
They're acting rude to me.
They're not trying. That's just how they.
The tension in the kitchen reaches a crescendo when suddenly plates begin to plummet from the cabinets.
Totally real.
According to some commenters, the timing of the spectral intervention
He just did that to
suggests
make
an
his
eerie
girlfriend not mad
motive.
at him.
Perhaps
Honey, the
spirit
plates are
sought to
breaking. I
quell
don't
the
know. It's
escalating
crazy.
conflict,
Just
acting
let's
as
forget
an
about the
otherworldly
fight.
mediator to prevent harm befalling the couple. The intensity of the argument, evident even to spectators, may have spurred
Be
the
mad at me.
supernatural
There's
intervention.
ghosts here now.
They're not trying. That's just how they.
Yet the video leaves viewers hanging, offering no glimpse into the aftermath.
Directly into
Speculation
camera.
runs rampant about the fate of the couple. Did they reconcile, or did the paranormal interference exacerbate their troubles?
If you
Love to
saw
hear your thoughts
plates
on this
falling, would
strange
you
piece of
would your
footage in the
instinct to be
comments
to
down
back
below.
up like that, or would you try to catch them? I feel like you would be like, I gotta get these, right? Wouldn't you want to catch them?
Hey.
No.
A spine-chilling video surfaced on Facebook, shared by the proprietors of the infamous Myrtle's Plantation, revealing eerie security footage that will send shivers down your spine. Situated in St. Francisville, Louisiana, the Myrtles Plantation stands as a relic of America's antebellum past, constructed in 1796 by General David Bradford. The property's grim history includes the labour of enslaved individuals and tales of supernatural encounters that have solidified its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the country. Legend intertwines the plantation with an ancient burial ground belonging to the Native American Tunica tribe, adding another layer of mystique to its already chilling aura. Despite its spectral reputation, the Myrtles Plantation operates today as a bed and breakfast, offering guests the opportunity to delve into its historical enigmas through guided tours. The recent footage captured during one such tour captures something quite strange. Take a look. A statue inexplicably falls to the ground. Tour guides with
he puts his hands like he's like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Fear among guests, but the unsettling incident leaves lingering questions about what transpired next on that fateful tour. Undoubtedly, the aftermath would have left many visitors with an unsettling unease, a stark reminder of the Myrtles Plantation's enduring legacy of mystery and intrigue. Here's an amusing little one coming via some security footage posted on TikTok by user Can You Not Though. The footage, captured by an interior camera in the uploader's home during daylight hours, initially depicts an ordinary scene. But watch what happens.
No. Don't do that.
Something seems to fall off the shelf.
No.
However, instead of getting scared, the man starts lecturing an unseen presence.
No. Don't do that.
It's as though he's used to strange things happening around his home and has grown accustomed to telling ghosties off.
No. Don't do that.
A lot of commenters gelled with the footage, admitting they also do the same thing when something strange happens around them. So what about you? Have you ever told a ghost off? Let me know in the comments down below.
No.
Looks like literally a piece of paper or something. Just like walking around your house could definitely just like knock something over like that, I feel like.
Late night eerie encounters have become the talk of the town thanks to a chilling TikTok video posted by user Jess, going by the handle JMO230. It's the middle of the night and Jess is working the night shift all alone in the psychiatric unit of a hospital.
Okay, there's nobody here, right?
When suddenly, she notices this.
What is that? Because it is not me. This is me leaving, closing the door. What the fuck is that?
A shadowy figure, distinct from Jess herself, seems to loom ominously, defying logical explanation.
What is that? Because it is not me. This is me leaving, closing the door. What the fuck is that?
As the comments section lights up with speculation and shared unease, the mystery only deepens. Could the psych unit be haunted by a spectral entity, a shadow person as some suggest? With limited footage and context provided, conjecture runs rife.
What is that? Because it is not me. This is me leaving, closing the door. What the fuck is that?
This next one isn't paranormal at all, but it's creepy nonetheless. Residents of a Chino Hills neighborhood were left stunned when a hidden camera, cleverly disguised as a rock, was uncovered. Carefully positioned amidst the grass beneath a tree on a central median, the camera blended seamlessly with its surroundings. Moreover, it was aimed directly at the residence of James Dimapasok. Describing the device, Dimapasok noted, It was a camera that was covered in clay that looked like a rock, so it was very precise. It was on a power bank, so it was a cordless camera. Dimmer Pasok became aware of the intrusion when a neighbour brought the matter to his attention after spotting the concealed camera outside their homes in Glenridge Drive. Dimmer Pasok said that the incident freaked out his wife so much she started crying. Promptly reporting the find to authorities, Dimmer Pasok learned that the camera was transmitting via nearby cell towers. He then reviewed footage captured by the camera in hopes of identifying the perpetrator. The footage reveals the suspect clad in garden gloves and a motorcycle helmet, surreptitiously planting the camera in the dirt before making a getaway on a kick scooter.
It's like a little kid.
Further investigation via Dimmer Pasok's Ring doorbell camera yielded additional footage, albeit too distant to discern the suspect's features clearly. The motive behind the covert surveillance remains unclear, but Dimmer Pasok and his wife suspect the perpetrator may have been scoping out their property, perhaps for a potential robbery. With the neighbourhood on edge, speculation abounds regarding the suspect's intentions. Concerns have been raised about the safety of junior high school students who frequent the area. "This is a street where our junior high school students walk," remarked Julissa Castillo, a concerned neighbour. "A lot of them do, particularly on that street. It almost concerns me that maybe they're watching a particular child." As the investigation continues under the jurisdiction of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, residents remain vigilant. Many have pledged to bolster their home security measures in response to this unsettling incident. Before we take a look at some breakthrough footage that's been captured on Brown Mountain in North Carolina that might shed light on a decades-old mystery, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be notified every time we drop our scary and creepy videos. The Brown Mountain Lights are purported ghost lights near Brown Mountain in North Carolina.
If I became a
Earliest
bell,
published references
would
to
you
strange
tickle
lights
me?
there are from around 1910, at about the same time electric lighting was becoming widespread in the area. In 1922, a USGS scientist, George R. Mansfield, used a map and an Alidade telescope to prove that the lights being seen were trains, car headlights, and brush fires, which ended widespread public concern. Apparently, the mystery was solved, but soon a raging flood brought travel to a halt for weeks. People began to doubt the conclusions when the lights continued to appear in the night sky. Decades later, in July 2016, the Charlotte Observer ran a story about two officers from the Forest Service who had encountered beach ball-sized spheres of light when they were up on the mountain. These orbs drifted by, then disappeared. For years, physicist Daniel Caton dedicated his research to unraveling the enigmatic puzzle of the Brown Mountain Lights. These peculiar apparitions have been documented for over a century in the highlands of North Carolina. He embarked on a digital expedition diligently monitoring the rugged Brown Mountain Ridge night after night. Yet, each day as he sifted through the recorded footage, nothing remarkable surfaced. Just the usual array of plain lights, campfires, and the familiar procession of celestial bodies across the night sky. Disheartened by the lack of findings, he confided, "I was losing hope. Months went by without a glimpse of anything." Caton and his team reluctantly agreed to persist with their surveillance for one more summer before considering to call it quits. Funding research isn't as straightforward as it seems, especially when it involves chasing after elusive phenomena like ghost lights. Then, on July 17, while reviewing the previous night's recording, something extraordinary happened. Take a look at the footage. A few minutes before midnight, high above the ridge, the Brown Mountain Lights burst into view. A luminous orb appears suddenly, then vanishes. only to reappear moments later as if on cue, before treating the watchers to an encore performance. To validate their authenticity, he cross-referenced the footage from both cameras. If discrepancies arose between the two feeds, he attributed them to lens flares or technical glitches. However, both cameras had captured the display simultaneously, leaving Catton and his colleagues baffled, unable to attribute the phenomenon to any mundane explanation. This marked the first time the App State scientific team had recorded the lights on video, breaking a prolonged streak of fruitless observation. They had diligently operated the dual camera setup since February, and this breakthrough revitalized their efforts. The light seems stationary above the ridge, Catton remarked. It's the first anomaly I've witnessed. Feels like we're back in the game. Each frame of the video spanned 30 seconds, indicating that the lights had illuminated the night sky for less than a minute. Despite his uncertainty regarding the nature of the phenomenon, Catton entertained the notion that they might be manifestations of ball lightning, an often poorly understood atmospheric occurrence. However, his scientific curiosity drove him to prioritize meticulous observation and data collection, with the hope of discerning a pattern. The realm of atmospheric phenomena is vast, Catton reflected. There's still much to uncover. For decades, reports from pilots detailing lights emanating from thunderstorms went largely ignored until 1989, when University of Minnesota researchers serendipitously captured them on a low-light camera. Now, such phenomena are regularly documented from space and subjected to rigorous scientific scrutiny. While the exact nature of these lights remains elusive, their appearance on Brown Mountain mirrors the broader scientific pursuit of understanding atmospheric anomalies. Catton estimated that around 95% of reported sightings were likely attributable to misidentifications, campfires, meteors, or mundane terrestrial structures. Yet he remained intrigued by the possibility that a small fraction, perhaps 5%, could represent genuine encounters with the mysterious Brown Mountain lights.
Browntown Rolo. Need some more of those Rolos.
We've got an exciting update for our second channel, Slapped Hand Mysteries. We'll soon be releasing 2 episodes per week. We'll be releasing
Rolos. Give me some more of those Rolos.
All right, are we recording? Here at Colby's, we understand men. We just always have. We understand that, you want a fresh patty. You want to have crisp onions, juicy tomatoes. Cut about that thick, right? About that thick. But most importantly, we know the onions don't touch the tomatoes. Fuck yes! Because at Colby's, we understand men. We understand you need to have a burger just the way you like it. Especially how the tomatoes don't touch the onions. Separated by a whole patty. You're not even going to have to worry about that. The only thing you got to worry about is finishing it. Introducing the new Big Grayson.
Now that's what I call a Big Grayson. Yeah, that's a Big Grayson.
Now for a limited time only.
Now for a limited time only. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up just because my headphones are dying again. I forgot to charge them when I was out today, so. But that was a good long stream. Appreciate you all hanging out. Thank you for chilling with me. Be around tomorrow night, like I said. Be trying to do some stuff late tomorrow night. I'm going to a concert actually tomorrow, but I will be back later tonight, tomorrow. Come on, everybody, we're back. Watch the spooky videos for a little while.
A photograph from Disneyland's 35th anniversary celebration in
Time
1990 has recently surfaced on Reddit, causing a stir among users with its anachronistic detail. A man pictured wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with the Prime logo. A brand associated with a popular modern electrolyte drink by influencers Logan Paul and KSI, launched over 3 decades later in January 2022.
It exists.
The image posted by Reddit user Jake Frads has ignited discussions of time travel, with many enthusiasts quick to label the man in the photo as a possible time traveler who went back to witness the iconic celebration at Disneyland. The Prime logo seems out of place in a decades-old setting.
How could you say it's a logo? It's literally not a logo.
However, skepticism has also surfaced within the community. Some users pointed out that Prime could plausibly refer to a shipping company existing at that time that used a similar font. The intrigue around the Prime brand is further compounded by recent controversies involving the drink. In April 2024, Logan Paul announced the inadvertent
It's not even like a really unique font
and
or anything.
polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, in the drink. These chemicals are known for their adverse health effects. This led to a lawsuit against Prime Hydration with allegations that the drink contained harmful levels of PFAS.
This shit is
in its grape flavor variant. The controversy has seen significant legal and public backlash, with Californian resident Elizabeth Castillo claiming $5 million in damages, arguing that she wouldn't have purchased the product had she known about the presence of PFAS.
That's funny.
So then, has a time traveler really been caught on camera here?
No.
Regardless of the true story behind the man in the Prime shirt, this intriguing photo serves as a captivating puzzle for both time travel aficionados and critics alike, blending the boundaries between past and present in the most unexpected of ways. In a chilling development from CDT Hospital Sotero in Santiago, Chile, a TikTok video capturing some eerie activity has intensified long.
Even if it was like some kind of, let's say for a second, rhetorical.
The video, posted by TikTok user Valerie Yame, shows something happening in the
why
emergency
would that be
department
time traveling?
waiting area. Take a look.
It's just so dumb.
Ándate la mierda.
Finally, we can like wash out that taste with a haunted wheelchair.
This eerie incident is not an isolated event at CDT Hospital Sotero. Both staff and patients have frequently reported unsettling occurrences, particularly
Good old-fashioned
during the night
rolling
shift.
wheelchair.
These reports often include sightings of shadowy figures that many describe as ghost-like. Accompanying these sightings are reports of intense headaches, along with feelings of dread and nausea, further adding to the hospital's haunted reputation. The video has sparked widespread speculation online, with viewers
if it's got
debating whether
wheels
this could indeed be proof of
or
supernatural
it's like
phenomena
slanted,
within the
it's
hospital.
like meant to move.
The historical
you
building,
get it on
known for
video
its storied
moving,
past,
and
provides a ripe setting
gotta be
for such
fucking
ghostly tales. While some
insane.
skeptics suggest practical explanations,
It's like when
such
people
as
take
uneven
video of
floors or
swings
drafts,
moving,
a combination of physical
rocking
symptoms
chairs
reported by
moving,
witnesses, and
like,
the visual
that's what it's
presence of
meant
the
to
moving
do.
wheelchair, compels many to consider paranormal explanations. The hospital is yet to comment on this specific incident, but the continuous flow of similar reports keeps speculation well alive.
Ándate la mierda. Pero qué es eso?
What about the whole like Amazon Prime thing? Is that not possibly
A set of images shared by renowned wildlife biologist and TV personality
also
Forrest
super
Galante has reignited the
identifiable
debate
and
over the
recognizable
existence of the thylacine,
word
also known
associated
as
with the
Tasmanian
fucking
tiger,
phrase
which was
Prime?
officially declared extinct decades ago. The
Not to mention
photos,
there's
which
like gotta
surfaced
be
on Reddit and were subsequently
millions of
discussed in a
boxes with the
video
word
on
Prime on it
Galante's
now
YouTube
from
channel,
Amazon.
allegedly show a living
Other
thylacine encountered
paraphernalia.
by a man named Zach and his father during a road
No,
trip
it's-
in Tasmania.
It's the energy drink thing.
According to Zach, the unexpected encounter occurred as they were driving back to Hobart Airport. They initially thought they were approaching an injured dog or dingo on the side of the road near Stokeport
giant
in northwest
Chinese baby, I
Tasmania.
think.
Upon closer inspection, however, the animal
there- see that
exhibited
little
behaviors and
baby that's, like, big?
characteristics, notably opening its mouth wide and emitting shrieking or meowing sounds that were distinctly uncanine. The brief encounter, lasting only about 30 seconds before the animal disappeared into the darkness, allowed Zach to snap several photos with his iPhone. He reached out to Galante to analyze the images, which were then revealed to the public through Galante's YouTube channel, sparking widespread discussion and skepticism. There are 5 distinct different images showing the alleged encounter. Here you can see the animal in various positions, albeit in low light. The thylacine, known for its distinctive striped back and dog-like appearance, was last officially sighted in the wild back in the 1930s. The species suffered from extensive hunting, loss of habitat, and competition from introduced species, leading to its decline. Despite its supposed extinction, there have been numerous unconfirmed sightings over the decades, particularly in Tasmania, suggesting that the species may have survived in small numbers. The history of the thylacine includes several intensive searches and scientific studies aiming to rediscover or even resurrect the species. Notably, the University of Melbourne and Colossal Biosciences announced a partnership.
You know what I found out today? That like a sea lion,
explore the possibility of bringing the thylacine
it's more
back
closely related to like
technology
rats
based
than
on
it is to a
DNA
dog.
extracted from preserved
I thought a sea
specimens.
lion for sure was like
Skeptics
super
of the
close
recent
to
photos
dog.
point to the possibility of
guess not.
misidentification or hoax, a common occurrence given the thylacine's iconic status in cryptozoology. Others hold on to hope that the species may still roam Tasmania's wilderness, citing the continuous flow of reports and the historical precedents of animals believed extinct being rediscovered. As the debate continues, the wildlife community watches closely.
And the name of the
with
family that
understanding
they're like
proving the
closely
continued
related to is
existence
called
of
like
the thylacine will not only be a monumental scientific discovery, but also a significant story of survival against
like-
all odds.
Is it like caliciphomia?
No,
It sounds like
operating heavy equipment can be
California,
a
but
really
it's not.
rewarding job.
Word threw
Zane
me off.
Eager, a construction worker and TikToker known for his family-oriented and humorous content, recently shared a video that diverges
Ghost
sharply
took
from
my
his usual
fucking
posts,
dump
capturing
truck.
what some viewers are speculating
Californication.
could be a supernatural event. The video, which quickly
It's when
garnered
all
attention among his
creatures
100,000 followers, features a
become
perplexing
Californians,
occurrence involving an
eventually.
invisible presence that seemed to disrupt the operation of a large construction vehicle. In the video, filmed late in 2023, Zane is recording a clip to show his kids the vehicle he operates at work. As he drives along a smooth section of the road, the vehicle unexpectedly stops as if it's hit something. But watch what happens.
What the hell? No. No, 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 no. Wait, there's nothing there.
Watching that again, when he looks the second time, there appears to be a person standing in the middle of the road.
What the hell? No. No, 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 no.
What the hell?
But when
Called
Zane takes another look, there's
Caniformia.
no one anywhere.
Caniformia is a suborder within the order Carnivora.
This incident is not the first time construction sites have been the
Caniformia.
setting for reports of unexplained phenomena, which some attribute to the high-stress
bears,
environment and the solitary nature of the work,
red
especially
pandas,
during night shift.
Sea lions.
Others suggest that the
skunks.
construction activities might disturb hidden historical sites or artifacts, potentially leading to unusual occurrences. As the debate continues on social media, the true nature of what Zane captured remains a mystery. Whether a genuine paranormal event or a well-executed hoax, the video certainly provides a compelling narrative and has succeeded in capturing the imagination of viewers around the world. A recent post on Reddit by user Haunted Luca has ignited a flurry of interest and speculation within the cryptozoology community. The post features trail cam footage from August 10, 2023, set up on a rural track near Kilcoy, Queensland in Australia, which captures what appears to be a large, unidentified creature stalking a deer. Take a look. The footage requires careful scrutiny. When slowed down and zoomed in, viewers can observe a very large entity moving with a lumbering gait through the brush.
Of course.
The creature doesn't resemble any typical predator known in the area, leading many to speculate about the possibility of a Yowie sighting. Yowies, often described as Australia's version of Bigfoot, are a part of Australian folklore. These mythical creatures are reputed to live in the wilderness and are characterised by their large stature and shaggy appearance. Reports of Yowie sightings have dotted Australian history, with various claims of encounters that remain largely unverified, but
Got
have
big
contributed
hands.
to the legend's persistence. The
It's
remote
actually
nature of the
spelled
footage's location adds to the
Y-O-W-I-E,
plausibility
though.
of such a creature
Sorry.
going unnoticed by the general populace. Kilcoy, a region surrounded by dense forests and rugged terrain,
Should put a
provides
Yowie
an
in a
ideal
bit abiotic
backdrop for
factor.
the secretive existence of such a cryptid.
And them
As the
Yowie
community continues
hands.
to analyze the video, the true
About them
identity of the figure
Yowie
remains a
hands coming off
mystery.
down that
Whether it
mountain
proves to
with
be
the
an undiscovered
Yowie
animal, a
hands.
well-executed hoax, or indeed a sighting of the legendary Yowie, this footage adds another intriguing chapter to the lore surrounding Australia's cryptids and fuels the ongoing debate about their existence.
Do they exist?
What the
A recent event in Montreal, Canada has captured the attention of UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike. On the night of April 2nd, 2023, a woman staying in a local hotel recorded a perplexing sight.
What the That is not a goddamn airplane. Why the is it so close? What the actual is that?
A series of unidentified lights moving across the night sky.
Why the is it so close? What the actual is that?
The footage, which she continued to film despite being notably shaken, shows multiple lights drifting past her window.
The actual is that?
Approximately 12 minutes after the initial sighting, the video captures another set of lights following a similar trajectory.
Alright, the light is off. I don't know what the this is. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm kind of freaking out at the moment. Let me see if I can try to... What the is going on right now? What? This is the second one.
Many commenters on the video suggested that the lights could be a formation of helicopters, a plausible explanation given the coordinated manner in which the lights are moving. However, the absence of any sound typically associated with helicopters, as reported by the woman filming, has led others to question this interpretation. Others in the online community, siding with the original poster, are more inclined to believe that these lights represent a genuine UFO sighting. Despite their suspicions, many of these commenters remain cautious, hesitant to attribute the occurrence to extraterrestrial activity without more concrete evidence. So what do you think? Helicopters or a genuine UFO sighting? Love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below.
I'm kind of freaking out at the moment. Let me see if I can try to...
Kind of freaking out.
What the is going on right now? What? This is the second one.
Sticking with UFOs, a perplexing video showing unexplained aerial phenomena recently surfaced on the Facebook page Dimension Breaker. The footage, of unknown origin but believed to have been filmed somewhere in Central America, displays a series of lights performing unusual maneuvers in the night sky. The video features lights that appear to rotate or oscillate around what some viewers suggest might be a central craft. The presence of multiple angles within the footage implies that the event was witnessed by several individuals. This adds some credibility and intrigue to the sighting. Despite the compelling nature of the video, details about the event are scarce. The exact location, date, and identities of the witnesses remain unspecified, limiting the ability to conduct thorough investigation or verification of the events depicted. This lack of information has led to a wide range of speculation among viewers, with theories ranging from experimental military aircraft to atmospheric phenomena, and of course extraterrestrial spacecraft. The footage joins a growing archive of similar sightings reported across the globe, each contributing to the ongoing debates about the existence of UFOs and the possibility of alien visitors. As it stands, the Central American sighting remains shrouded in mystery, providing fertile ground for discussion and debate within the UFO community and beyond. Before we take a look at an intense alien abduction story that allegedly happened in Puerto Rico back in 1979, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary and mysterious videos.
What is he really trying to say?
In a startling account revealed through Evidencia OVNI magazine and further discussed in the Flying Saucer Review, a Puerto Rican man, Hector Maldonado, reports witnessing an otherworldly incident that continues to haunt him decades later. Maldonado, a resident of Ponce, described an alarming experience from November of 1979 near the saltings and mangrove thickets of Ponce Salt, close to the southern coast. According to Maldonado, while jogging one morning, he abruptly encountered 5 or 6 unusual beings. He described them as thin, between 5 and 6 feet tall, with bald, oversized heads and large almond-shaped eyes that emitted a bright internal light. These beings, which had greyish-blue skin and appeared unclothed, were seen abducting an olive-skinned man who seemed unconscious.
It does seem weird that they never have
beings,
clothes.
Maldonado observed
Like, they
an
make these
oval-shaped
fucking
craft
6
hovering
spaceships and shit.
silently
They
over
come
the
here, they
sea.
don't have clothes.
The craft was described as large and
Isn't that kinda
metallic,
weird?
with a cupola on
Maybe
top
trying to,
and
like,
sides that were
fucking-
fluted or grooved, adorned with a series of lights reminiscent of Christmas decorations.
Style on
One of
everyone
the beings,
and show how
after
cool they
noticing
are.
Maldonado, seemingly communicated with
I don't
him
believe that they wouldn't have
telepathically,
clothes.
jesting about his funny running style. Maldonado felt intimidated.
What I like about,
as
like,
the
the tall
creature mocked
gray
him and
theory,
suggested
like
to the
some
others that
aliens
they should abduct him
piloting
too,
the other
although
aliens.
they ultimately decided against it. Maldonado
Inside
reported
that
feeling
alien,
a
it's
strange
another
sensation
alien.
like a cold
They're
liquid
wearing them
hitting
like
his
clothes.
chest, which caused temporary physical discomfort, prompting him to continue
Max.
running in fear. He didn't look back until
Blue
he was
Alien
far
song
away
is
from the scene. Traumatized
big.
by the event, he chose not to report it to the authorities, fearing disbelief and ridicule. Years later, Maldonado revisited the site, where he noticed a perfect circular depression in the ground approximately 100 feet in
AI
diameter,
picture.
suggesting something large had once rested there. Upon his return, he spoke with civil defense personnel and others who had witnessed unidentified objects in the
there's a little
area,
alien inside the
confirming
big
his
alien,
suspicions that
like,
he was not
drives him.
alone in his experiences. Maldonado expressed frustration of what he
I think
perceived
that's
as
the
a
idea that they
cover-up
took
of such encounters.
made,
He
like,
argues
Men in
that
Black
the volume
with.
of similar sightings and experiences reported by others indicates a reality that is being obscured from the public. This account, reflective of a classic close encounter of the fourth kind, an event where a human is abducted by a UFO or its occupants, raises profound questions about the nature of such incidents.
My
and the
God, this
entities
stock footage is
involved.
amazing.
It also highlights the psychological and societal impacts on witnesses
being
who
abducted.
often grapple with fear and isolation after such profound experiences. So I'll throw this question out to you, the viewers. Have you ever witnessed a UFO or believed to have seen alien activity? Love to hear your personal experiences in the comments section down below. Have you ever heard the mind-blowing story of the ghost of Katie King? We took a deep dive on this fascinating case over on our second channel, Slapdown Mysteries. Here's a little snippet.
For a brief moment in time, Katie King.
I don't even care to hear about him, honestly. How about this, though? How about some crazy fucking stories? You guys are gonna like this one.
There are two types of
About
people who work at
McDonald's.
McDonald's, or fast food places in general. There are ambitious, intelligent people who are trying
Only
to work
two
hard
types.
to achieve a goal, in the
Only
hopes
ever
that
two
one day
types.
they'll be able to quit for the sake of something better. And then there are the losers, those with no ambition who have given up and have no desire to achieve anything other than a weekly paycheck. I like to consider myself in the first category.
Yeah.
As I
Which
was
one
working
makes
hard to afford my
spooky
apartment
videos
while
on
taking
YouTube?
classes at the local community college. I normally work the later shifts at the drive-thru window, which is the one spot most employees hated working the most. You constantly have to deal with extremely impatient, oftentimes very rude people who are on their phones or have music blaring, and oftentimes don't realize that I wasn't the individual who took their order, so it's not my fault if it's wrong. In addition to that, you're pretty much constantly on your feet and exposed to the elements. No matter how cold, windy, or rainy it is, you have to keep leaning out into it, wishing that you were in a warm car about to drive away from this place. My point being is please try to be more kind.
Yeah, I
and
really feel like the
patient with
McDonald's
drive-thru
thing
people.
is like a
Yeah, some are lazy,
stereotype now.
but
Like,
most are trying their best. And even though you only see them for about half a
sure,
minute, a kind remark or a warm
McDonald's is
smile might
crappy,
make their
but
day.
they're fucking humans.
Anyways,
and
now that I've gotten that off my chest,
fucking
I work the late
be a
shift
dick.
with two people who I believe qualify for the second category of employees. Connie was a high school
Unless you get
dropout
treated
who
like
was almost
shit,
always late,
then by all
and was
means.
never invested in what she was doing. And
otherwise-
Harold was a deadbeat who often smelled like weed and only kept the job because otherwise his parents would throw him out of the house. He was 32 years old. So one night I was there after 11 p.m.
It really
I was
should
out the
just
window
make
on an
everyone
extremely
work
cold
at
January
McDonald's
night, flipping through the pages
like
of my
a
class
month,
notes and trying to keep warm by the
least.
fry machine. Connie was
be able to
mopping
like
while
graduate
looking at her
high
phone,
school,
and Harold
have
was
to
in the
work
back
at
probably
McDonald's for
getting
a month.
baked in the walk-in cooler.
So you
That late
fucking
at
know
night,
what
we
it's
rarely
like.
got customers.
Something
And
like
if we
that.
did, they were almost always zonked-out college kids who used the drive-thru but never physically walked into the restaurant. I stood up and stretched my legs and told Connie that I was heading to the bathroom. It was around 11:30 at this point. I came back less than 5 minutes later, with Connie more or less in the
Yeah,
same
just like
spot
any
that she
job
was
where
before.
like you
I walked
are
past her
subject
and
to
turned the
people
corner to
being
return
like
to the
assholes
window
like that.
and froze dead in my tracks.
Even if you don't have to.
There was a bald
or
man in white face
do
makeup
that
and
in
a
your
black
life,
hoodie
just
standing
to
directly outside the window
see what
staring
it's
in.
like.
His eyes were wide, with a blank expression that read, "What kind of trouble can I create?" The figure made direct eye contact with me and smirked, and slammed his palm against the window.
Fuck is this?
I had no idea what to do, and inside my head, the words clown, mime, psychopath, danger, and death all exploded like fireworks. The window was already shut and locked to protect myself from the cold, but the doors were all unlocked, and this person could easily walk right in and grab any one of us if he wanted to. In my head, I kept referring to it as he, but honestly, I had no idea what the gender was. The outfit and makeup made the stranger look androgynous.
Oh man, we're going there.
Open. Drawing out the word like a snake. Now, even if the figure wasn't dressed like that, I was under no obligation to open the window. It's unlawful to serve walk-ups at the drive-thru window.
Just looks like
Certainly
Uncle
for their
Fester.
safety, but also for ours. I shook my head.
The
and backed
animation,
away.
this is like so
I called over my
confusing.
shoulder. Lock the doors. The whole time, this figure didn't break eye contact with me, and to the best of my memory, I don't even remember it blinking. It drew back its lips in a sinister smile, and I shit you not, its gums were black. I don't mean I was too far away that I couldn't see clearly. I mean its gums were as black as licorice. Open. It hissed again, louder this time. Its other hand
Why are they
slammed
making that
against the
face?
window, and it licked its lips with its tongue. Open. That's when a third hand slammed
Back
itself
out.
into the
You guys
window.
remember Harold from Hey Arnold?
A left hand.
The shape of his head
And it
reminds
was
me
just
of.
as pale and as skeletal as the other two. I lost my shit. Holy shit! Call the cops! I screamed and ran back into the office, which was the only room with a locking door and no windows. I heard Connie scream, "What the fuck?" And she dropped her mop and flew across the room and made for the back with me. All the yelling attracted Harold, and I shoved past him into the office and told him to look at the security camera.
Harold.
Sure enough, the white-faced creeper looked to have 3 hands on the window and was tilting its head back and forth,
Shit, what's
perhaps
that, Sphinx?
trying to discover where I
So
ran
right,
off
dude.
to.
Just watch
We
some
locked the
dumb
office door and called the
cartoons.
cops, explaining to the operator that there was at least 2 prowlers outside acting in a threatening manner towards us. I kind of expected it to be over after I called
You
the
guys
cops.
are well. You had a good
If
stream.
It was a prank.
Going on,
They
everybody?
would run once they realized they scared me enough to call 911. But it didn't end there. We watched as the figure left the drive-through window, circled the building,
He
and
had
headed for the restaurant
3
door.
hands.
Is there a second one? Look for a second one. I panicked while still on the phone with the operator.
You know what's funny in
Connie was
Oregon?
freaking
They just
out,
like, or at least
and
in
Harold was
Portland, they
muttering
like
something
let
about not
people
getting
just
the
walk
police
up to the
involved.
drive-through windows.
Luckily because he was carrying weed.
Like most other states, they're like,
That's when
oh,
the
you
power went
cannot
out.
do that.
Everything.
Like we went to get
Cameras,
food.
lights,
Or no, we went to a
phone,
Dutch Brothers
the whole
after a
building went
concert the
down.
other night. There's like
And barely
just
10 seconds after
3
we all
people
quieted
standing
down
in the
after shouting at
drive-through
each
line.
other in the
It's
dark.
kinda funny.
We heard footsteps in the dining room area.
Just became a thing a few years ago. That's like legit. Like there's a law about it
She
now.
didn't reply. I think she had her hand pressed over her mouth.
They got rid of the pump your own gas thing.
Ben.
No, you
We
can
heard a
pump
voice
your own
call
gas.
from
They got rid
outside
of
the
full
room in the
serve.
dark. Oh, Ben. The shout came at least 3 more times, circling from the kitchen to right off the hallway where we were hiding.
Yeah, I've been
I was
seeing it
convinced I was about to
constantly.
die, and every decision I had made in my life that brought me there was flashing before my eyes. We heard footsteps.
You think it would be like a
pass
liability
us.
thing? Like someone would get
After
run over
another
by a
few
car
minutes, we
in
heard
the
the
fucking
wail of
drive-through?
police sirens outside, and at any moment, we expected to hear gunfire and the police shouting at someone to get on the ground, but we never did. We waited until the police identified
I mean, the full
themselves
service thing is cool
and
for
opened the
people
door and
who
ran out into the parking lot. Since the power was down,
work,
we
I
couldn't
guess,
show the
but
cops the security footage,
I wanna pump my
so we
own
just
fucking
told them what
gas.
we saw. They swept the whole building and said it was clear. The owner of that particular franchise store showed up about an hour later,
appeared.
after Harold and Connie had left. I waited for the power to be restored, so an officer could escort me back inside to collect my belongings. The next day, my manager called me and asked me to work the night shift. I asked him if the creep from last night had been caught.
And when I first moved
When he
here,
said,
the law hadn't gone into
"There
effect
was
yet.
no
It took like a
creep."
few weeks. It
I
took
told
like
him I
2 weeks
quit
exactly.
and hung up
And I
the
remember like
phone.
getting out to pump my own gas.
This
and
story
being
is
like, "What are you
completely
doing?"
true.
was
I
like,
have no
"Oh,
idea what caused the power
forgot that I
outage,
could do that."
which apparently erased all the security footage from the day. Without proof on video, my manager and the cops concluded that it was an elaborate prank, but that third hand still bothers me to this day, even more so
This
than its
fucking
hungry,
story.
inhuman eyes.
third hand.
Sure, it could have been a prank, but I wish someone would just confirm that for me, so I can sleep again. Keep your windows locked at night, and if you hear someone tapping from behind the curtains,
If I saw someone
don't
with a third
fucking
hand,
them.
it'd be kind of fucking sick. Imagine you could get so much more done. We'd be probably more efficient. Third hand. I mean, third leg helps a little bit, but yeah.
There's a building that has a parking garage with a bicycle parking area on the lowest level that me and a group of my friends like to hang out at and
The
skateboard.
story's fucked up.
I called
Oh.
up my friends Jordan,
Skateboarding.
Dorian, Jalen, and
Content
Aditya
warning.
one Sunday to ask if they wanted to go skateboarding with me at the garage. They all agreed, so we met up
Someone
at my
does
house and
die.
rode our skateboards and longboards through the unkept paths between the apartment buildings and arrived at the garage. We waited for a car to drive in and set off the sensor to open the garage door.
The fucking scooter.
Then we tailgated in. When we got inside, we rode our boards around, just practicing some skills. Eventually, we rode down to the lower level
practicing
and
our
sat in the
skills.
bicycle parking area to have a break and drink some soda. All of a sudden, a car pulled up and parked in a spot that was visible from the bicycle parking area. The car sat in the spot with its engine running and the driver still sitting inside. Then another van pulled up and shut off its engine in the middle of the road. Both drivers got out and met each other halfway. They were both tall and intimidating with their hoods up. One driver passed the other driver money, but then they suddenly began to argue. We all watched in awe as they flung their hands around dramatically and started to shout. We couldn't make out what they were saying since the loud echo distorted their voices. We all froze as the van driver pulled out a gun and shot the other driver in the throat. The driver collapsed, blood pooling around him. The van's driver yelled something, and then
Looks
we
like he
saw
has, like,
two
the
other
fucking
guys get out of the
Gundam,
van.
like,
One
Zex
tossing the
Marquis
body
helmet
into the
on.
back seat, and the other began wiping up the blood. Something was going on here, and I could tell we were in danger. Dorian whispered that we had to leave, now. We all began to quietly grab our skateboards and started hiding behind a wall. But the blood cleaning guy
Where the
spotted
fuck were they
Jalen as
before?
he was making his way over and yelled to the driver.
Jalen?
The van started up, and right then, Aditya screamed. We all threw down our skateboards and began pushing away as fast as possible.
Couldn't I
could
have
hear
friends
so
with
many
less
noises
syllables in
my
their
ears, like
names?
skateboards moving, voices shouting and screaming, and the roaring van behind us. Dorian was on an electric skateboard and was taking the lead as we wound around the ramps, rising to the next level. Jordan was next to me, and Aditya was close behind us on his scooter. Jalen, who had been the last to leave, was falling behind, and we could see the van speeding up behind him. I yelled for him to run to the side, and he popped his skateboard into his hands and took a sharp turn to the left, running up a fire escape. The van screeched around the corner as Dorian began approaching the garage door.
I want one of them to do like a fucking
That's
sick
when I
trick and then
realized
the
something.
van just hits them.
We had to wait for a car to trigger the sensor and open the door. I yelled at Dorian to take the staircase to the right, and he did. Jordan and I hopped off our skateboards and ushered Aditya into the staircase. We burst out into some dirty apartment floor, and I quickly called Jalen. He picked up and told us he was outside the apartment building by the main road. We held our skateboards and ran through the apartment floor until we found the fire escape. Then we managed to run outside and met Jalen, where we called the cops.
Hey, who are you again?
After the cops arrived, they started to search the parking garage. They couldn't find any traces nor the cars there, so they decided to check the security footage. The footage revealed the van's license plate was covered with duct tape, but they did catch the license plate of the car of the driver who'd been shot. They said they'd keep us updated and gave us a lift home. Since then, we've never seen the van again or gotten any important information.
We know
from
who
the
got
cops.
shot, though, so that's
My friends
good.
and I have recently resorted to the much safer and public skate park nearby and never visited that garage again.
I don't know if it's really a spooky story. Just kind of about them seeing a murder. It was the scariest thing that ever happened. Anyways, I kept skating. I just kept going.
This is quite possibly the most intense and strangest encounter I've ever had.
Those
Not only
dogs.
did it happen to me, but also my dog and my friend's dog too.
I think that was
In
the
our
Reddit
local
post.
wood,
Well,
there's
those are
a path
dogs.
beside a
They
cliff
got
face,
dogs in this
and
one.
on those cliffs are a series of small caves
Big
that we call
chunker.
the Banana Caves. I was never sure why they were called that,
bacon
but if I had to guess, it's because they were
narwhal.
made of limestone and had a slight yellow tint to them.
Reddit gold.
Maybe it was the shape of the caves, but that's not really important. The path we walked was frequently walked by many people. Locals, dog walkers like us, bird watchers, you name it. It's not exactly a quiet path,
Big,
which is why this
wholesome
was as
chunker.
shocking as it was. My dog and my friend's dog are great, and they're amazing off their leashes. They just go and do what they need to do and don't bother anyone or any other dogs. Of course, dogs will be dogs, mine being a bit of an adventurer.
The dog,
who began
dog.
climbing the bank that
Dog
day toward the
and
cliff
dog,
face
dog,
near the
dog,
caves.
dog.
I tried
Dog,
to call him
dog.
back down more than once.
The dog, the
At
dog,
one
the
point,
dog.
I called him again, but something had caught his eye. His head went real low to the ground, and his ears went straight back. I thought this was strange, because if it was a rabbit or a squirrel, he would have just chased it. But no, he stood as still as a statue. I shouted louder this time for him to come back down the path. Then, there was a huge commotion. He went into fight mode. He backed up while
Fight
barking
mode.
and snapping at whatever the heck it was. I began to climb the bank myself in a panic, making sure it wasn't a badger or worse. My dog charged forward, and that was it. He yelped and barked, and it was awful. What I saw was this monkey-like creature with pointed ears. It had no fur at all that I could see. It was black and leathery, with black eyes. It had latched onto my dog's neck, hanging onto it, like the way a sloth would do to a tree or a caretaker.
Leave them alone!
My dog shook and rolled fiercely, but this thing just held on. It felt like ages before I finally reached my dog. I'd been running as fast as I could up the bank. My friend's dog joined in on the commotion as she ran past me and began barking and
Fucking
snarling
dog's
at
so
this
dirty.
creature and my dog. As I got closer, I picked up a stick and instantly swung at the little creature.
Nice, dude. Good
Terrified
stick.
it was seriously hurting my dog. I hit the thing directly in the
Yeah, that
back
looked
of its
very
head,
effective.
but it didn't budge straight away. So I hit it again, and this time I cracked it against its back. The creature then jumped off my dog, just like you'd imagine a monkey would. I got a look at it again, and noticed it had a bat-looking face with 2 sharp front teeth. It did this little
say a
spin, looked
bad-looking
like a trip,
face?
sort of. But eventually it dashed off, and noticed it had a bat-looking face with 2 sharp
Bad-looking
front
face.
teeth. It did this little spin and looked like it tripped, sort of. But eventually
Bad.
it dashed off on all 4s, climbing up the cliff face and disappearing over the cliff
Bad-looking
edge.
face.
Luckily, my dog was pretty much unharmed. He had a slight cut above his eye, a cut on his nose, and a cut on his chest that looked worse than what it was. There was just a lot of blood. I have no idea what this thing was, but my friend saw it too from the bottom of the bank and confirmed the exact same thing I saw. I believe it to be a goblin of some sort. Otherwise, I have no idea. If you have any idea, please enlighten me. I'd love to find out more. I live in the northeast of England, if that helps.
I believe it to be a goblin of some sort. But the veterinarian called the cops on me. Anyways. I forget which story had the running again. Found it. Global linked it the other day.
You may not realize that there is a world that you're not even aware of. After all, the Earth
Oh,
is
the train
still not a
tracks.
place that has been
Remember that?
fully discovered. I used to love traveling. A year ago, I left for the Amazon, driven by passion. Me and the crew that I was in were excited to make a special documentary film exploring remote areas. But the things that I saw, that thing that I saw, you have to understand that I can't describe how terrifying that thing was. I was lucky to be alive.
Smoking the
I
filter.
don't know how I survived, or how I came back home. My memories, they were all gone. I barely recovered from my wounds. After that, I had psychotherapies as well as medical treatments, and through those I was able to recover my lost memory. It was day 10 of the expeditions in the Amazon. We kept going deeper into the forest. The Amazonian Indians in the area told us strongly not to go deeper. So we
Yeah, I don't know
decided
about
to
that
dispatch
depiction.
only 3 out of the 10 members of the crew to the place. And as you can
It's like
guess,
some Johnny Quest
I was
shit.
one of the 3. The rest remained in the village. And it was us 3, walking deeper into the jungle. The environment was just like a sci-fi movie, full of enormous trees, plants, and huge insects. In that majestic nature,
That
it
guy
felt like I
from
was going back to the
fucking
Mesozoic
One Piece?
era. It was fantastic, at least up until that moment. As we went deeper, the plants and insects
not-
around us
what's his
got
name
bigger and
from One
bigger.
Piece?
And Mark, one of the members, became agitated.
The fucking
He said he wanted to turn back,
blonde kid?
but me and Victor persuaded him to keep going. We had a goal at that time, to film this documentary and make history with our findings. It wasn't just Mark. We all knew that it was dangerous, but there was no wondering why he freaked out that much. Because there were
the one who like
insects
is
and humongous
friends
snakes
with
wandering around us.
Luffy at
I
the
was
very
holding a big
beginning,
machete,
and he becomes
so
a
did
marine.
Victor, but for no avail. None of us could see beyond our noses because of the plants. After walking for a long time, we finally reached the swamp. There we saw a massive alligator. I was freaked out, but the excitement filled its place. While I was staring at the alligator, I noticed Marg was having a panic attack. He couldn't even catch his breath. It seemed like he was going to have a heart attack, overwhelmed with extreme fear. He kept mumbling.
It's like the same character design.
We're gonna die. Although, even if the alligator would attack
just
us, we could defend
blonde kid with
ourselves,
glasses
since we
for
not
that.
only had machetes, but guns too. But fortunately, it didn't even move the muscle. It was just staring at us. So we kept moving forward. What happened after that is the real stuff of horrors. Looking back on this now, that was just unbelievable. It was only then, when I heard a loud bang of a gun and screaming, I realized I got knocked down and my head was in the mud. I began to feel an immense pain within my
Why
body.
did that happen?
And I realized my arm was broken. The camera that I was holding were also completely destroyed. It was too painful for me to even move an inch. Right there and then, I heard the most frightening screams of a creature that I had never heard before. That ear-splitting sound made me imagine how massive that being could be. It was so tremendous that it echoed through the entire forest. I barely raised my head and turned towards the sound, and I saw Victor shooting his gun at something. At first glance, I couldn't recognize it clearly because my vision was blurry due to dizziness. But as it got clearer, I saw what it was. A green, giant insect. It was a mantis. A giant mantis. It seemed to be almost 9 feet tall. I still couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was probably hit by that mantis and flown away, fell into the mud. Mark was nowhere to be seen, and Victor was firing his gun frantically. But it didn't even faze the mantis. Suddenly, it rushed at Victor and violently stabbed his neck. Wow.
I just thought that
Victor's
it reminded
head
me of this.
flying
the
away in
mantis.
front of my eyes. After the death of Victor, the mantis slowly raised its head, looking at me. When we were staring at each other, I was paralyzed by fear. I still don't forget those eyes. They were just as big as a human's head, and I could see myself reflected through them. The mantis screamed in a very high pitch. I thought it was gonna kill me, but it didn't. It just flew off. I couldn't breathe due to fear, and even felt suffocated. When I got myself together, I heard a voice. Help me. It sounded very feeble, but I knew it was Mark's voice. I started searching for him, following his weak
just his
cries
head.
of help.
Oh, but
I
just the
found him
head.
stuck under a large tree, waist down. The place was completely devastated. It was like a battlefield. Everything was destroyed. Mark was barely breathing. I tried helping him get him out under that tree.
You're fucked, man.
But my broken arm didn't let me. Mark and I looked at each other. He stared at me, no hope in his eyes, and closed them. With teary eyes, I started to walk away. I kept
He
moving,
just walks
hearing
away.
the distant screeches of the monster. After hours of walking, I finally got back to the village where the crew resided. They were
Yeah,
sick,
well,
and when they
see you
saw
later.
me,
Gonna
the
go to
open
sleep
wounds
now.
on my head and my broken arm, they got up, rushing towards me, and then I collapsed. It was at that moment I lost my memories. They apparently wanted to go look for the others, but the chief of the tribe didn't allow them to go. Being unconscious, I couldn't tell them what happened to me, to Mark, or to Victor. They then gathered the equipment and patched me up the best way they could, and we left the Amazon to go back home. I wish these memories stay that way. Now that I have them back, I can't fall asleep. And even if I do, I wake up drenched in sweat.
One line was like
the death
leave
of those
quality.
people right in front of my eyes.
Can't
One
sleep. It was like in a different
and
microphone.
That scream
will be the end of me.
I don't think praying mantises make sounds. They like, I don't think they would like have vocal cords to do that.
You may not realize.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't find it. Trying to find one story in particular that we watched. It had like a funny animation in it.
I was stinging.
No. I was stinking. I was stinking. Yeah, guess I'm not gonna find that. No, it was like 2 stories. I don't know. Like a weird stalker one? I'm not sure. Monsters. I know there's a couple of really good ones in here. Here we go.
I'm a man who works in the sewers. That day was also in the middle of repairs in the sewer. Then suddenly, I heard something coming out of the water quickly. So I turned my head and found something crawling towards me in the dark. At first, I thought a colleague was messing with me, but its movement was so bizarre. Its shape, slowly revealed in the dark, was a figure with numerous legs attached to the human body and was crawling creepily on the water. I ran away screaming up the ladder, and he was staring at me from below. I called the police as soon as I went up, and they went down there and searched, but they didn't find the mysterious creature. Rumor has it that there used to be a mad doctor in my town. He was a man who was crazy about bug research, and at some point he started crawling on the floor like a bug, and he's just missing. I'd thought maybe he was the one I saw in the sewers. But I also knew that no one would believe me if I told this story. I just couldn't resist the curiosity. Eventually, I went back down the sewers. Walking for a long time in the flash, I heard a faint sound somewhere. I had a hunch. I immediately pulled out the electric shocker I had brought. And at last, in the dark, he showed himself. He crawled towards me with his centipede-like legs. He crawled over and grabbed my leg and dragged me away at a tremendous speed. I was dragged frantically by him and used an electric shocker on him, and he collapsed screaming. His face was even more hideous when seen up close. It was definitely a human face, but it was full of green skin and black veins. I'd asked him who he was, but he kept struggling to drag me away without an answer. I knocked him completely out with the electric shocker and called the police. Police arrested him and confirmed that he was surprisingly the missing doctor.
It's like Hojo.
And shockingly, it was confirmed that several legs that were attached to his body were attached by removing other people's legs.
That's not how that works.
He continued to feel uneasy and did not eat anything. And he did not say anything, no
You
matter
just
how
sew
much
people's
the police
arms
asked.
to your body and like.
So eventually, the police put him back in the sewer and he crawled to his hiding place. When police followed him to the shelter, many skeletons were found, all of which were legless. It is also said that all kinds of surgical tools were placed. Eventually, police arrested him again, but he continued to refuse food and died shortly afterwards. It turns out he died from contracting germs from the legs of a rotten
Turns out he
corpse.
died of a broken
And what
heart.
happened to him? It is still
He missed
remembered
his
as a
wife.
creepy incident, leaving many questions.
Turns out he died of a broken heart. Nobody knows what happened to him.
My name is Japheth, and this happened when I'm 21 years old and live in the state of Parana, Brazil. I love to hike in small forests near the town, especially following train tracks. One day I was hiking on one of those train tracks that had trees on both sides. I was far away from the entrance, playing with my walking stick like it was
Why
a sword.
does he look like this?
When out of nowhere, a group of around 5 men appeared from behind the trees. They were like 100 meters away from me, but I could see all of them were carrying white bags on their backs. And at first they were walking in the same direction I was, but one of them turned around and started yelling at me, asking, "Who are you?" And the others started to yell too, "Come here, you want to get hurt?" I was in shock. I just shouted, "What?" And they responded, "Come here so we can beat you." My heart stopped. I turned around and started to run as fast as I could, just thinking, this cannot be true,
Yeah, we have an
and
emote with
avoiding
this
stumbling
now.
on the track. I ran a mile before hiding in a tree and looking back to see if they followed me. I didn't see anyone, so I caught my breath and left this track as fast as I could. I still don't know what was in those bags, why they yelled at me, or what would have happened if I stayed.
Why would you think that was going to
I
happen?
don't go hike anymore.
I don't go hike.
I just shouted, "What?"
What?
And they responded from the
Love
entrance,
this animation
playing
right
with my
here.
walking stick like it was a sword.
It's like perfect. Playing with my walking
When
stick.
out of nowhere, a group of around 5 men, my heart stopped.
What?
I turned
What?
around and started to run as fast as I could, just thinking, this cannot be true, and avoiding stumbling on the track. I ran a mile before hiding in a tree
He's
and
like
looking back to see if they
Smalls.
followed me.
Wow.
I didn't see anyone, so I caught my breath and left this track as fast as I could. I still don't know what was
This
appeared from
kid's
behind the
face too
trees.
is like really weird.
And the others started to yell too. "Come here, you..."
Why does he look like that? Yeah, they all look like they have like their own color that they're
Want to
assigned
get hurt? I was in shock. I just shouted, "What?" And they responded, "Come here so we can beat you." My heart stopped.
None of them are
I turned around and started to run as fast as I could, just thinking, this cannot be true, and avoiding stumbling on the track.
What?
I ran a
That's-
mile
I think that's
before
my
hiding
favorite
in
part.
a tree and looking back to see if
Looked
they
at them
followed
and
me.
said, "What?"
I didn't see anyone, so I caught my breath and left this track as fast as I could. I still don't know what was in the...
Yeah, it's like he becomes like a Looney Tune for a second. His fucking jaw drops. What?
One day, my friend Lucas came running into class and breathlessly said,
Hey, did you hear the news? A few days ago, a man in the neighborhood called the police, but he didn't say anything. So the police went to his house and found him lying in the bathroom with his head cut off and a cell phone in his hand.
"Really? If that's true, it's super scary," I said in shock.
What's scarier was that they couldn't find the head. But that night, another person saw someone dressed like a scarecrow running around holding a trident with something round stuck on it. At first, she thought it was a pumpkin or something, but now she thinks it was a human head.
Wow, that's terrifying. It's not even Halloween. Who on earth would do that?
Let's be careful now. If the killer shows up, show your ugly face. Then he'll go find another head.
Dude, how can you make jokes in situations like these?
It's no joke.
As stupid teenagers, we tried to pretend that nothing was wrong, even though we were scared.
Is that an insult?
That night, while I was sleeping,
Make your
I heard
ugly
a crow
face.
cawing from the window. I mumbled in my sleep, annoyed. "Crow, you better shut up before I break your neck." But after a while, I heard someone whispering very softly, "Maybe you should watch your own neck."
Is this
I
going to
was
become an
startled
Edgar Allan Poe
when I
story?
looked out the window to see a man standing there. He was wearing a big hat like a scarecrow,
never mind.
and
Like
his
you ever
face
run like
was
this?
a bizarre mask made of gunny sacks. He was cawing like a crow. I was so shocked that I screamed until my uvula popped out of my mouth. And at that moment, he opened the window and let himself in. It's so loud, I have to slit your throat to shut you up. I threw the blanket at him, jumped out of bed, and ran out of the room faster than Usain Bolt. He tore at the blanket with his trident and chased after me. I ran and screamed until the house rattled. This quite obviously startled my father, who came running out with his gun, and I started crying and screaming, "Kill the scarecrow, Dad!" My dad went into my room with the gun up and ready, and the man jumped out of the window and ran away.
My
The
father
next day,
grabbed
as
his
soon as I left
M1
school,
Garand
I went to
and
see
shot
Lucas,
the scarecrow.
grabbed him by the collar and said, "You were kidding yesterday, right? You owe me a new blanket."
What are you talking about?
His face was a mask of total confusion. However, when I looked at Lucas's scrawny body and thin forearms, he was clearly not the man who had been swinging a huge trident single-handed last night. I was in a huge panic. Then Lucas actually had the stones to make fun of me.
You're such a baby. If a guy like that breaks into your house, you just poke him in the eye with your finger, kick him in the balls, and hit him between the eyes 3 times in a row, and it's over. If I were you, he would be lying in the operating room by now. Pity.
Lucas was punching the air in his imagined fervor, but I couldn't say anything. A few days after that, Lucas didn't show up for school. Then I heard something shocking from my teacher. Lucas had been murdered during the night. He was found with his head cut off, and his fists had holes from spear punctures. But his head was nowhere to be found. The neighborhood was turned upside down, and the entire police force stood guard day and night, maintaining high alert. Then one day, a police officer was found handcuffed in a police car with his head cut off. But this time, there was a video from the car's dash cam. However, the culprit wasn't in the video. At first, all that could be heard was the sound of 2 people struggling. But then the police officer spoke up. "If you're going to cut off my head, do it one go, so it doesn't hurt. You should really let me go. I won't tell anyone I saw you." After that, a dull sound and a scream blasted out, and a moment later, the back of the perpetrator running away giddily, with the police officer's head stuck on his trident. The police did their best to catch the criminal, but to no avail. There were, however, plenty of rumors circulating. Some people said they saw the criminal's face. Some said they knew who the criminal was, and some even said they were the criminal. But it was all lies. After the police officer's death, the killer was never heard from again. But since then, people in the neighborhood still sleep armed. I still have doubts. Who was the culprit? Why did he take those heads? And what did he do with them?
Actual insane story. Yeah, I heard the glass. Did you not hear it? Who didn't hear the glass? All right. You heard it? I thought.
Not long ago, I went to see my older cousin. He lived in a remote rural village. I was a teenager without a driver's license, so I took the bus. However, I accidentally ended up taking the wrong bus. This bus was going to another town. Inevitably, I got off in the middle of the road. It was a 40-minute walk from there to my brother's house. Also, the area was so remote that there were very few buses around there. I ended up just deciding to walk. There were only fields around and not a single person was seen passing by. Just then, I saw some scarecrows standing in the field, which was very unusual. They all looked like real people. I looked at one of the scarecrows. They must have set up some mannequins, I thought. Curious, I came a little closer, and they were even more shocking up close. The mannequin seemed much more real than I had thought. The skin looked real. It felt like a real person was standing here. I got goosebumps all over me. I looked at them vacantly, thinking, what are these for? The scarecrows all stood in the same position. They were standing in a strange position with their body tilted at
Maybe
an angle.
don't go into the field.
It was such a strange and creepy sight. Just then, one of the scarecrow's eyes suddenly moved and stared at me. I was so surprised that I fell back. The scarecrow moved towards me as soon as I thought I had misdeemed it. I screamed and started running like crazy. Just then, a scarecrow, or a man dressed as a scarecrow, rushed towards me with a sickle in his hand. He ran after me, making some weird sound. I shouted as I fled desperately. What the hell is wrong with you? The scarecrow kept chasing me and making that weird sound. It sounded like a language I couldn't understand. As I glanced back, the scarecrow swung a sickle at me. My legs gave way with fear. Thinking that I'd be ripped apart and killed if I was caught by him, I ran away. Fortunately, I soon managed to get out of the field. When I looked back, I couldn't see the scarecrow anymore. I didn't understand why he was standing there for so long, pretending to be a scarecrow. One more thing I remember was that when I glanced at his face as I ran away from him, he was laughing. It seemed as if he was truly enjoying it. At first, I thought it was just someone's nasty joke, but I could tell it wasn't when he swung his sickle at me. He was literally trying to kill me. I almost lost my neck. When I got out of there, I immediately called the police. Shortly after, when the police arrived at the scene, they found no scarecrows at all. However, they did find evidence of murder, such as unknown bloodstains and flesh in the field. They're continuing to search the field. What was the scarecrow that was running after me and the rest of the scarecrows doing there? I still have terrible thoughts about it to this day. Were the rest of the scarecrows the bodies of the people he killed? If I didn't get out of there, would I have become one of those scarecrows? Or were the scarecrows other murderers in disguise?
We may never know. We may never really know. How about just guys being dudes?
When I was in the 11th grade, some friends and I used to be in an elementary school together that had recently shut down.
What?
When we heard the school
Kind of,
shut down,
like,
we all
opening is
decided
that?
to check out our neighborhood school. This
looked like
idea
that.
got my friends and I very excited. We agreed to show up at the school around 11:30 p.m. The night we chose to do this was ironically raining heavily with the occasional sounds of thunder, which made it a bit more unsettling. Our meeting spot was the playground, which all of us showed up at. Now we just had to find a way into the school. After searching around the property, one of my friends found an unlocked window that led to the main office. All of us climbed inside the school from the unlocked window. Getting inside that school was a little unnerving. It was very dark in there, and you could barely see where you were going. But some of my friends had a couple of flashlights, so we were fine. The main office was trashed. There were papers everywhere, with broken printers and other pieces of technology scattered around the room. Every time one of my friends would flash his light into a new direction of the office, I was afraid the light would land on a person or something even worse. The main office led to the main part of the school. In the main part of the school, it had a hallway to the left of you and a hallway to the right of you, and straight ahead from the office was the library. Trying to get into the library didn't work. The door was locked. So we decided to go down the hallway to the left of us. Flashing that light down the dark, far, quiet hallway startled me. While walking down the hallway, we all suddenly stopped in our tracks looking at what we just saw. At the end of the hall, we saw a very tall figure that appeared to be a woman. She had long blonde hair and she wore a torn-up, dirty wedding dress.
Yeah.
We were about 10 feet away from her. But when the flashlight landed on the woman, she quickly ran into a classroom. It was very odd. My friends and I were very afraid. Why was this woman with a wedding dress standing there in this abandoned school, just staring at us? We just stood there waiting for anything to happen. Standing in that very dark hallway for 3 minutes felt like 20. Ring! Suddenly, the school fire bells went off, making us sprint as fast as we could back to that main office window. As we were running, the lights aggressively flickered, making it harder to see. It was like someone was flicking the light switch as fast as they possibly could, making the lights abruptly switch on and off. It terrified us. Then we rushed into the main office.
Just
when
like
we were in there, one of my friends
brain
yelled, "Oh,
simulation."
shit!" I looked to see what he was looking at, and what I saw made me lose it. Behind us in the main office was the same woman. She was now closer. Her hair covered her eyes, but that wasn't the scariest part. The scariest part was her mouth. This woman's mouth was unnaturally wide. It would be impossible for any human to open their mouth as wide as this woman's mouth. She was still staring at us, but with a creepy giggling. All of us screamed when we saw this disturbing woman. We got out of that window so fast and made it outside. By the time we got outside, someone already had called the cops because of the fire bell, and my friends and I were caught. We told the cops there was someone else in the school and to go get them. 6 cops entered the school looking for the woman that we encountered. After about 30 minutes, the cops came out of the building looking unsettled. And while I was in the car, I could hear the 6 cops that entered the building telling the other cops that there was very unusual activity in that school. 15 minutes later, we were escorted home by the police. My friends and I were all grounded for a long time. But we didn't tell our parents or anyone about the woman we saw. I still remember exactly how that woman looked. Her face, her hair, her wedding dress, and that disturbing mouth I can't even describe.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm exhausted. I'm going to call